Good evening, and welcome to Stupid O'Clock News. I'm Lewis Lee. Barnstable, Massachusetts. A commercial lobster diver who got caught in the mouth of a humpback whale off the coast of Cape Cod on Friday morning said he thought he was going to die. Michael Packard, 56, of Wellfleet, told WBZ-TV after he was released from Cape Cod Hospital that he was about 45 feet deep in the waters off Provincetown when, quote, all of a sudden I felt this huge bump and everything went dark. He thought he'd been attacked by a shark, common in the area waters, but then realized he couldn't feel any teeth and wasn't in any pain. He estimates he was in the whale's mouth for about 30 seconds, but continued to breathe because he still had his breathing apparatus in. When the whale surfaced, shook its head, and spit him out. He was rescued by his crewmate on the surface boat. His sister, Cynthia Packard, told the Cape Cod Times that her brother broke a leg, but later said that the leg was just bruised. Charles Stormy Mayo, a senior scientist and whale expert at the Center for Coastal Studies in Provincetown, told the newspaper that such human whales encounters are rare. Humpbacks are not aggressive, and Mayo thinks that it was an accidental encounter while the whale was feeding on fish, likely sand lance. That's the news. Let's start the show.
Okay, I was queued up, ready for a good night, everybody.
Yeah, no, modern day Jonah, man.
Sounds interesting. There's Skunk. How you doing?
All right.
And we got Bill Sartain in here.
Howdy.
Howdy. Dan's away from camera right now, so we'll wait on Dan to get back.
Well, we don't have to wait. We can continue the show without him until he shows up.
We'll continue.
Yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think I'd like to be in the shuttle.
There you go. Oh, that reminds me. Yes, I've got to change destinations as well.
Yeah. Oh, so what's up, Bill?
Oh, me barely.
What's the matter?
No, we had some storms and went through. Of course, nobody was hurt. Thank you for that. But it was a little rough getting back home from Laura's today and so kind of just we did okay though. And it got up to 95 today here in Illinois. And I believe our record high was 97. And so I'd be interested in finding out if we did achieve that record, beat it.
Yeah, your audio is breaking up bad.
Am I?
Yeah.
I'm getting some.
Okay, how about now?
That's a little better.
That's better, yeah.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe it's better. Okay. Anyway, I ordered an arm for the microphone that clamps to the table, which should be here Monday. And until then, I'm having to do a makeshift thing.
All right.
We'll leave it at that.
I understand. I struggled with mics for a while too, so I understand.
Yeah.
Oh, hush, Lewis.
No. I mean, but you figured it out and you sound good. So,
Yeah.
Actually, my microphone is over here, that far away.
Well, I'm going to have to play around with it a little bit when I get that arm in and see how to do it. Had good reports on the microphone before, but I think a lot of it sounds slow. So I'm using the tablet.
You should have seen me back in the GarageBand days when I had them dangling from the ceiling and stuff was being plugged directly into the mixing board. And I'm standing there trying to play bass guitar and mix everything at the same time. That led to some duff notes, let me tell you.
I had my days of swearing at the old Shure microphones that I bought, talking about bass guitars and trying to get everything together. So I know what you're talking about.
Oddly enough, my best stuff wound up coming from Radio Shack. I had some expensive stuff, but it didn't work very well. But the Radio Shack never failed.
I've always heard stay away from realistic.
No, I've had really good
stay away
experience
from
with it.
Optimus. Optimus was a brand that Radio Shack started selling at the end there, but the realistic stuff was good.
Oh yeah, the realistic was very dependable, but there were other brands they carried that was absolute junk. So
Yeah.
Of questionable lineage.
Yeah. Well, they started trying to increase their profit margin, so they went with a cheaper supplier. And I would bet you that's what eventually ran them out of business. People didn't trust the product anymore.
Well, that and the internet. I mean, when you can order stuff online, and instead of having to go.
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I mean, I still, I
disagree with that theory as well. But if Radio Shack was still open today, I'd be going down there buying 15-inch 100-watt speakers and all kinds of stuff that I need for things that I would like to do or replace stuff that I used to have.
Yeah, I mean, I would go down there and go through the components, and I would buy resistors and diodes and all kinds of different component parts, breadboards, and build my own circuits.
Yeah, there's nothing like that local anymore, is there?
There's nothing that I know of.
Only one store in all of town has it, and that's it starts with an S. It's over there off of 153.
Shields,
yeah, Shields Electronics.
Okay,
so they're the only ones.
All right. Last time
I went to Shields, I was trying to build a little regulator circuit for my RV, and while I was in there, of all people, oh crap, I'll remember his name in a second. But sports guy from Channel 12.
Don't know.
I have moments like that too.
You'll recognize the name when I remember it, but Star-S is bad today.
Just do this, Lewis.
Have to jar the circuits a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pajamas TV says he used to love getting the little
Kevin Billingsley. It worked, Bill.
God, what?
Kevin Billingsley.
Okay, Billingsley's back at Channel 12. I knew he went.
I said used to be.
Oh, used to be. I was trying to think of the curve.
He hasn't moved away.
He owns a barbecue restaurant way out on. It's not Hickson Pike. It's 58.
Okay, I thought
way out on 58.
I thought he had Buds for a while.
He did.
Okay.
He did, but not anymore.
That's weird you say that, Joe. We had still have to this day at Bud's Electronics and Car Stereo, and they were major competition.
Well, this was a sports bar.
Yeah, Bud's was a sports bar. Yeah. So if it's way out, if barbecue place way out on 58 used to be Two Pigs.
No, well, I know of that one, but it's another one.
Oh, it's not that location.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's right down from Carter's Shooting Supply.
Oh, okay.
Well, if I may, I just got some news I'd like to partially share because I am under an NDA. But another show has asked me to do a theme song for it.
Cool.
Yeah, I thought so too. I told him to listen to the 8th album and tell me if there's anything similar on there that I can change up, or just you want this instrument and that instrument, you want this time frame, and we'll work from there. And it doesn't matter how long it takes. So they'll be replacing their present theme song with something by me. So,
oh, that's good.
Yeah, I'm chuffed. I mean, seriously.
Dude, there's enough podcasts out there that need original music because all the copyright, claims that are coming down. That could be a boom business for you.
That was the exact point that was raised with me.
Yeah.
Don't want copyright strikes, and I'm going. I own the copyrights.
Yep.
Watch them now start going to copywriting the music format thing you use to write the music on.
That could be dangerous. The company that owns that would kind of get a little upset.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. The company that owns the format.
Oh, the program that I use?
Yeah. So you got to start paying them for the program that you didn't pay us to write this song that's making this guy.
Yeah, but he paid for the software, so.
Yeah, I've got the software license. I mean, good grief.
I mean, I pay for
it. It is unlimited use, and it is for public and private use, and it covers actually doing stuff like that. So,
yeah, I have the Adobe Creative Suite, and they don't own jack shit of what I create.
About the only thing that I could get in trouble for is if I tried to copy something somebody else had already done. Thankfully, that with this software is impossible unless I plug the MIDI keyboard in and start typing in note for note something, which, given my level of mediocre talent with a keyboard, that ain't going to happen.
Well, quite frankly, Dan, I mean, you know, like most of us have been listening to music for 50, 60 years. How do you take those 12 notes and rearrange them in a way that's never been arranged before? I mean, when you think about it, coming up with original melody lines, that's phenomenal.
Oh, well, you know, I mean, I steal everything from Strauss and Bach and Beethoven. I mean, seriously, there's only a limited number of things you can do.
Well, I mean, there's only 12 notes, right? I mean, there's eight whole notes and
sharps and flats, yeah,
and 5 sharps and flats. So
there's a limited number of things you can do. Major and minor chords, keys. Excuse me.
But
gosh, it's been a long time since
those original 13 notes.
Yeah. And I
find how many different permutations that we've gotten over the ages from 13 notes.
Well, look at the libraries. The English language is only 26 letters, and how many books are in libraries?
Yep.
Dan's a purveyor of 26 letters and 13 notes.
I think Dan uses 29, and that's what makes his stuff so interesting.
I actually do alphanumeric, so it's 36.
You're the one that named Elon's kid. You named Elon's kid.
No. Otherwise, I'd be getting paid better. I would have copyrighted that one. No.
Well, he also, he said it's pronounced cat walking across keyboard.
Yeah.
Which he also got in trouble
for. If I ever meet him and his son is with him, damn Skippy, I'm going to say, how's it going, cat walking across keyboard? And he's going to look at his dad and is he crazy?
And his dad is going to go, yeah, but he's a fan. It's all right.
Oh. Well, I just thought of something. 26 letters, 13 notes.
Yep.
There's actually twice as many letters as there are notes.
Yeah. But that is with the European scale.
Yeah.
Other countries have come up with different scales, which can get really weird because you get half tones and quarter
Indian
tones,
music.
3/4 tones, and South American stuff too. Indian, Chinese.
I know they can get sounds out of a sitar that I ain't never heard before.
Oh yeah, well, Ravi Shankar has had a big influence on some of the stuff that I would love to be able to write, but I don't have the capability. So,
well, what about that Korean instrument that looks like a 64-string hurdy-gurdy?
Oh yeah. And there's another one. They call them harp guitars, where you have an entire range of bass notes along with a 12-string guitar or a 6-string guitar, and you're actually playing guitar, but you're hitting with your thumb. You're hitting the bass notes that would accompany it. So you're actually putting a bass player out of a job right there.
Not a good one.
Then there's the Chapman stick, where you play it with both hands, and you have the entire bass and 12-string range on one neck, and it's just a skinny thing without a body, and you're just thumping away on it. And there are people doing some amazing stuff with that. It's been out for a couple of decades now, and there are about 4 or 5 people that have totally mastered it.
Chapman?
Yep, Chapman stick. And the best examples are on a couple of later King Crimson albums. And you can actually see videos of the darn thing being used on YouTube. Matter of fact, you can look up tutorials on how to play one. It does not look easy, but I mean, you've got to coordinate both hands at the same time on as many as
somebody's mic moved. We're getting a hum.
Sorry, mine's still connected to my head. So
I'm surprised Pizza Jams hasn't chimed in, because he is a musician.
He might think I'm better than what I actually am and don't want to say nothing. But then again,
well, he does looping. If you know.
Oh, that's very King Crimson. Robert Fripp kind of I want to say pioneered that, but explored most of the possibilities with that. And it can be really fun, or it could suck out loud if you don't have everything geared right.
Oh, wow. Have any of you seen an app called Remix Live?
No, not at all.
And can't even see that on your phone.
Yeah, well, golly. Anyway, let me, doesn't matter, but it's a,
I like the black fingernail polish, though.
All right, there you go. It's kind of like a soundboard,
and
you can start with a bass. Can you hear that? And then you add instruments.
Well, I hear the drums real well.
Sounds like a drum machine.
But I mean, you can record it. You can just loop all day long.
Congratulations!
I closed the app and it's still going.
You uncovered my secrets. That's kind of the way that I work, with a totally different program, but it's kind of the way that I work. It's a series of pre-recorded loops that are long or short, as the case may be, and you just put them together like Lego blocks, and all of a sudden you've got something that people kind of like.
There. I couldn't remember how to shut it down.
Yeah,
but
sometimes it's harder to turn it off than to turn it on. So
you can do loops and record, and you know, if you're just looking for ambient background music or something, that's great.
Yep, I'm very familiar with that kind of technology. So and having it on a cell phone is an amazing thing, because used to you had to have a powerful computer to do that, and as times have changed, they get smaller and smaller and smaller. Now you can carry it around in your hand and do it right there.
Yep. And I've got it on my iPad, and so the buttons are bigger, and that works even better.
Mhm.
And then through the iPad, I can hook it up to a Wi-Fi loudspeaker and one-man beatbox.
Yeah, really. You can be dancing along while you're cooking on the grill.
Yeah.
I think Lewis could be the next disco techno zombie music master.
Oh, I don't think the world's ready for disco again, Bill.
You can dress up like Sparks or one of those strange groups. The one guy always looked like Hitler. For some reason.
Yeah, yeah. I think that was deliberate. And there was another guy doing the same sort of thing with Sweet, or The Sweet. Excuse me. It was a 2-word name.
I'll be back in a minute.
Now,
that was just the Attitude Jets, Lewis.
Oh,
But
we're
what
getting
I
in a
remember
position to
about
land.
Sweet, they were all glam.
Oh yeah, glam rock. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a big thing. It kind of astounded me that people like Mark Bolan.
Oh, like
Yeah, yeah. My wife always corrects my pronunciation. Believe me, with and T-Rex were considered glam rock when they were really just rocking out with the fancy costumes and stuff. Now Bowie, I could see because he did the makeup and everything, but
Yeah, well, that was his Ziggy Stardust persona.
era. Yeah, yeah. Well, he did other things in the same sort of let's become another person and do something in a different style sort of thing.
Yeah.
Constantly reinventing themselves. Adam Ant did that too. Constantly reinventing himself.
Yeah.
Well, the Sweet went through somewhat of that. They kind of veered from glam, especially what was his name, Steve Priest, and he looked, the whole sexuality thing for him was always kind of teetering on the edge, which was kind of a lot for the early 70s.
Yeah,
But then in later incarnations, they kind of got away from some of that costumes, which I know there's a video out there, their song Action, that's been covered by every 80s. But they all of a sudden went into the big black leather.
Yeah. Fashions changed, and so did they. When your life depends on the public perception of we're still cool, then you have to move with the times.
Well, I heard that the word is that Kiss probably will not tour again. There was a rumor that they might, but a recent interview with Paul Stanley, he was quoted as saying, "You just can't tromp around on the stage with 20 pounds of costume forever."
Yep.
And so they took that to mean, I ain't doing it.
Mm.
And I'm sorry, you've already lost, Peter Criss. You lose Paul Stanley, then you got Ace Frehley and Gene Simmons is left, and I'm sorry.
Well,
Don't have Ace Frehley
Gene Simmons
anymore.
thinks he's all that, but he's not.
Yeah, well, Simmons would be willing to do the entire show by himself, but we've already seen
that's
that
his
show.
Personality.
Yeah.
Ace and Peter are gone. They've been gone for a while.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. Well, no,
Yeah.
Peter's dead. Ace is still alive.
When did Peter
No,
Criss
I'm not
die?
saying dead. I'm not saying dead. I'm saying not with the band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause
Well, no,
they-
Peter
they-
Criss
They
died.
got problems.
Peter Criss died of testicular cancer, golly, 8, 9, 10 years ago.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I-
Well, I'm saying Ace is out there now.
Yeah. Well, Ace is doing his Well, no, I don't know what Ace is doing. Paul Stanley does have another band.
Yeah, a big band.
Yeah,
They do
exactly.
big
They
band
do.
music.
Yeah, they do retro style stuff, and sounds pretty darn good.
Well,
His
see,
voice is just as good as ever.
Yep.
I wonder if Ace Frehley, when he left the first time, he started Frehley's Comet, and I wonder if he's doing anything at all, because that man has led a hard life.
Mm-hmm.
But I like to say drugs and alcohol, but I'll say alcohol and alcohol
Yeah.
with him. I saw their reunion concert. I can't think of the name of the place now. It was in Terre Haute, Indiana, 1996. I still have the rock and roll black denim jacket that was a concert jacket. It had the Silver Kiss logo on the front, pocket on the back, great big huge rock and roll patch. And that paid $50 for that thing in that concert back then. They were awesome. I never got to see it in the 70s.
Well, given the culture of the 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s, it's amazing how many people we've still got left.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Some of those
Keith Richards.
Some of those people should have burst into flame on stage,
Keith Richards.
Oh God, yeah. Have you seen the meme where it's him and Betty White at the end of the universe?
Yeah, he's holding Betty White as a baby.
No. It's a Highlander joke.
Oh,
So it's like Betty White's going, "Yep, Keith, you knew this day was coming. There can only be one."
I haven't seen that one.
Oh
that's
man,
awesome.
it's wonderful. It's wonderful. Yeah.
She just turned.
The only one.
Yeah, she's what, 99 now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's about 20 years younger, at least.
Well, I mean, look at George Burns. He lasted to 100, and he smoked a cigar every day of his life. Well,
yep.
Adult life.
He had to cut down to one eventually.
Yeah.
But
Bob Hope made it to 100.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was active.
He was a busy guy. Yeah.
Who? Bob who?
Bob Hope.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. I wish that Dean Martin had made it longer, but he had a real good run. Jerry Lewis is still with us.
No, I think it was Jerry Lewis.
No,
Jerry Lewis is gone.
Yeah.
Oh heavens!
And we lost him right before a Labor Day weekend too.
Damn.
About 2 years after they cut him out of the Jerry Lewis Labor Day telethon weekend.
Yeah, which sucked.
Yeah, well, corporate does all kinds of things once it becomes a corporate. Copyright talk. Oh, well, Sarah.
Yeah, we were just fussing about the bots that if you played just a 10-second clip, a bot's going to give you a copyright claim that you've stolen their rights. And if you did 10 seconds of their video of a song, they want to claim 2 hours of your content.
Mm-hmm. I shall return. I have to visit the necessary.
All right. Oh.
I told you to do that before we left, Dan. Kids.
I did. I've been drinking all day.
That pod catheter.
Oh, God.
Or the hail pail. Oh.
So why okay, like on Facebook stories, you have the option to use music with whatever photographs and that, and I've been playing that up big time lately. Because I never do Facebook stories and that. So I started posting my artwork on there or something that I put together advertising my artwork channel and then finding a similar song to use background, which, yeah, it's only about 10 seconds long. And that, but it's, Facebook's allowing it. Man, the catalog you got to choose from is about endless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Backing up.
Yeah, I heard that.
Oh, it was funny. There's this man and his son were in the bank standing behind this woman in line, and the son was tugging on the dad. And he says, "Dad, that lady's really fat." And Dad says, "Son, that's rude." A couple of seconds later, he's like, "But Dad, she's so big." And he says, "Son, calm down." Just about that time, the woman's pager goes off. And the son freaks out. He says, "Dad, look out, she's backing up."
That's an oldie, but a good one. Oh.
A dad joke.
Yeah. Oh, I
now
got it.
This would be a granddad joke.
Yeah. Yeah, kids today don't know what pagers are.
No, they don't.
Of course, I've got a serious question now.
Okay.
If you order your groceries online and buy a DiGiorno pizza, will they still deliver it?
Yes, but you can't do a DiGiorno commercial that says it's not delivery. It was delivered, but it's DiGiorno.
Oh, yeah, that's one of my little crazy one-liners. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say it's not delivered, it was expedited. I got something.
What's that mic flag you got there?
Huh?
You got a mic flag on there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, your logo. Cool.
Yeah, or, can't see it, but it's on my T-shirt too.
Cool.
We got a place called, oh my God, that's horrible. Apparel and Clothing in South Danville. They did, of course, I'm not wearing one of my hats, but tonight, but they've done a bunch of that stuff. They do, silk screen, or they do embroidered patches, or good expensive stuff.
Now, did we answer Sarah's questions while I was gone?
No, we didn't.
We were just
copyright.
talking about the copyright claims that
Yeah.
if you play 10 seconds of a song, some bot will jump in there and want to claim 2 hours of your work for 10 seconds of a song.
Mm-hmm. Well, if Sarah has specific questions, then we'll be happy to take a stab at it. But none of us are experts on copyright law. Joe does have to look up some stuff, but and Scott probably knows more than all of us.
Lumps and bruises.
Yeah, really. I had to learn when I trip over something, but that's. I'm an old man.
For the last maybe 8 years, I have only used music that I buy the rights to in any of my productions. And one of the best places that I've found is audionetwork.com. They are based out of the UK. So not a lot of American producers use their stuff. And they've got a vast variety of things, and just about every tune that they've got 60-second versions, 30-second versions, 15-second, 5-second, stingers, full orchestrated 2.5-minute pieces. You can pick and choose what you need for your particular project and pay for it by the piece, and then they'll send you a copyright usage document that you can file with your own copyright. I was told I can't record myself.
Hi,
Well-
Sarah Heiser.
Sir, you're going to have to expand on that a little bit. You can't record yourself doing something off the radio or a top 40 hit.
Now, if you're doing a sing along, and the bots can discern the original music in the background, they're going to ding you on that.
Yep, karaoke is right out. But if you got your own original stuff, then that is completely out of their jurisdiction.
Yeah.
That's why I do what I do. It's all original stuff, but
And they've
Just
got.
want to jump in and say Sarah is a relative of mine.
Oh, okay.
Good.
I shared the show on my page and on my artwork page, so if you see strange people in here tonight, they're my strange people.
See strange people in here tonight?
Here? I mean, seriously. If we ain't strange enough, unfamiliar may be a better word.
Yeah.
And Sarah is the church organist at her Methodist church in Ogden.
Okay.
So she knows a little bit about music and stuff. She's been doing it for about 30 years.
When along about August last year, the bots started hitting these churches that were using Facebook to do their church services. We're hitting them for the church songs because it's copyright.
That should have an exemption.
Yeah.
Well,
these bots have got to the point now, if you do more than a stanza, just quote more than a stanza of a song, they'll hit you. Where'd you go, Lewis?
That was weird, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lewis started
losing my mind
regenerate.
and part of my head.
We got to check those transporter circuits one more time. I think the dilithium crystals may have fractured. So
I thought he was starting to regenerate and become the next Lewis.
Yeah, maybe the next one will start eating better.
Oh, Dan, I don't know if you tuned in on it, but you may have, Bill, where Christian Basil was doing a what if they, instead of being a British series, Doctor Who became a movie serial like Bond.
Oh, yeah. No, that was built off of the what if the Peter Cushing Doctor Who movies turned into a series of movies instead of a TV series. And they wanted to find different actors to play the different incarnations of the Doctor. So he started off. You get each actor would get 2, maybe 3 movies.
Yeah,
and they were starting to pick that up and run with it. And boy, did they go really far. There were some really good suggestions in there.
Vincent Price.
Yep.
Christopher Plummer. Oh shoot! I said somebody. I forgot who it was. Christian says, somebody's already claimed that one.
Yep. The interesting thing was that they didn't restrict it to only
British actors.
They actually allowed American actors. So you did get Vincent Price in there. Christopher Lee, of course. I was pointing out that I watched it. Yeah. I was pointing out. Oh, so and so would be a good master for that particular actor to be the Doctor. And Christian goes, "Ooh, that's excellent. I didn't think of that." Oh,
I just wonder where Bruce Campbell would fall in there.
Captain Jack.
definitely. Yep, Skunk's right. Bruce Campbell would be the perfect American version of Captain Jack without the pansexuality. Although,
no,
Bruce could pull it out.
It's Bruce Campbell.
Bruce could probably pull it off. Yeah.
Remember, there's that one really poignant scene in Burn Notice where he does the good news, bad news thing, but he doesn't tell Michael that it's going to be good news, bad news. Sam sits down with him and he says, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, it's like it's one step further from their goal of trying to figure out who burned Michael. And then he pulls out something and he hands it to him. And it's exactly the thing they need to be able to get around whatever this problem is. And he just looks at him and he goes, Sam, I could kiss you. And Sam holds up a beer and goes, get in line.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Sarah says church doing something like a church hymnal for communion recorded board breaks copyright in the United Methodist Church.
Yeah, that is
So
a
they're
definite
playing
problem.
recorded music for communion
I
instead
guess.
of the organist just.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah,
Oh.
or the organist playing live the previously written sheet music that is copyrighted by the United Methodist Church.
If bots are picking that up as a copyright infringement, then you've got an organist who is incredibly accurate and awesome because their waveform is looking exactly like a recorded version of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
that's what musicians do, though.
I do want to point out something very important to remember, right? Because Lewis, you just mentioned the waveform has to be specific, but remember these bots are smart enough. They've been programmed so well now that they can pick up music being played off of somebody's cell phone, being recorded by somebody else's cell phone. The audio quality is completely destroyed. It's no longer the original track whatsoever, and it still recognizes that exact song because the AIs have gotten so smart. So if you have an organist, even if their organ sounds nothing like the organ that was used in the original song, and you have a choir, even though the choir makeup is completely different from the original song, if it sounds, the bots will pick it up as, oh, that's that one song. So it's not even the fact that it's that they're picking up pre-recorded stuff, right? Because that has happened, of course, that has happened. That's definitely something that's happened. But if the people who are performing it at least are in key and can hold their own pitch, and the people who are playing the organ, if they are playing the correct notes at the correct time and doing it in the correct beat per minute, yes, the bots will go, that's a copy of the song. Even though it's a live performance, doesn't matter. Even though it's not even the original people, it doesn't matter. That's why the whole bot thing is really stupid. But you also have to understand, and this is the part that I really hate, they're unfortunately a necessary evil, and I hate it. Because, if we didn't have those bots, we didn't have those copyright bots going through, striking things down left and right, they would, how many bootleg movies would be on YouTube tomorrow if they just got rid of that?
Yeah.
Well,
and it's ridiculous, and I hate it. And it's so stupid. It's awful. And I really wish people wouldn't do stuff like that. I really wish they wouldn't. It's these jerk offs who want oh yeah, I want to put up this movie because I can, and put it up on YouTube for free for everybody to see because I can, instead of supporting artists, these scumbags. They've ruined it for everyone else. Now you have to fight tooth and nail for fair use, and you might not even get it because the way that YouTube set up their DMCA claims, if you say, hey, this is fair use, and even if it is a 100% true fair use, or if you're doing a movie review, for example, something like that, and you say, no, this is 100% fair use, it's transformative and informative, and it is not subject to that copyright claim, this is fair use, the company could come back and be all like, well, we don't care. We want it blocked anyway. In fact, we're going to upgrade our claim to a copyright strike because you tried to say something to us about it.
Mhm.
And
Look
they,
at,
you have
look at
no
the intro to last
recourse.
year's Helicon recordings. Joe Dog was doing classical music as an intro, and they tried to give him copyright strikes against something that's 400 years old.
And that's the thing about it is
The song is 400 years old, but the recording may have
wasn't.
been recent.
Yeah. And here's the thing about it. They can totally upgrade a claim. They can take a copyright claim and upgrade it to a copyright strike at a whim. And either way, if you do that first appeal and go, hey, I'm using this material under fair use. It isn't it's, especially if you're doing like a movie review or something like that, or a song review, it's like saying, I am doing this as fair use. This is a transformative work. I'm obviously not bootlegging it because the whole entire thing isn't up there, and I'm talking over it, and I'm just putting up clips and showing examples and describing the film and being able to do this review or whatever. They could, when they come back and say, no, we've made our final decision, guess what? YouTube automatically sides with the company. They will not side with you. If they say, nope, it is not fair use, you have no way of appealing that.
What I want to know is,
so
how does YouTube know that I don't have an ASCAP license for the music or BMI
But
license?
they don't care.
They don't. Yeah,
they don't care.
This is why I made that rant. I did that rant the other day on never mind the furthermore, because it's exactly the issue is that, and this happened to a channel that I happen to be a big fan of, is that you have no recourse. If they say, if the company says, hey, this belongs to us. This belongs to us. Therefore, we want your money. There's no way that you can appeal that, and it's in YouTube's best interest and in the company's best interest, no matter, even if they're right or wrong, doesn't matter. It's always going to be in everybody's best interest to say, no, the user is wrong. Even if you have that license, Lewis, even if you have that license, you could show it off and bring it to court. They don't care. They don't care. They're going to go, hey, did you look at the terms of service? We own you. We own everything that you upload. This is why I hate YouTube now. And it's been getting worse and worse and worse ever since they were bought by Google. Listen, I happen to be somebody who supports Google products, right? I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, Google's such a horrible, bad company. They're the worst. I'm not one of those guys. What I'm saying is that Google has started to worship the almighty dollar. This has been going on for a while. And every time that they do make a decision now, it's about how can we get more money, not about how can we advance technology and help the common people, which is what Google's mission used to be. They've become sellouts, and I hate it. And it's what it's the quote. What's the absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yes.
And Google had such a footprint over the internet. It's basically Google and Amazon at this point going head to head, fighting each other for all of this tech and the footprint of the internet. Do you know that they're I believe, if I recall correctly, they are tied. That they own the most between Google and Amazon own the most amount of available space on the internet.
Oh yeah.
And you could run a feed out of your own home. You could technically do that. You could technically set up a URL and a DNS and all and a DHCP and all that other stuff. I don't know what's all the different protocols that you need, but you could technically host a website in your house the same way that we used to host BBS lines, right?
Exactly.
You can do that in your own house. Guess what? Literally not cost effective at all. You will actually lose money no matter what. And if you have too many visitors to your website, it'll actually crash because you cannot possibly have the connections, the actual bandwidth. You can't even get a server powerful enough to be able to handle what Amazon and Google can handle.
Yeah.
Which also, by the way, means if you're one of those anti-Amazon people because you hate Jeff Bezos, guess what? There isn't anything you can do about it. You're using an Amazon product. You're literally using an Amazon product right now. And I don't mean StreamYard. I mean literally any website that you look at these days is either going to be hosted by Amazon or Google. It's a coin flip.
Mine's actually hosted by Yahoo.
Oh, by the way, we're broadcasting on Twitch right now. Twitch is owned by Amazon.
Yeah.
Ta-da!
Well, now when we had the Mollies on for the Halicon show,
Oh yeah.
I had to cut out a section of Chris Armstrong and Brian. Had to cut it out because they were so accurate in their playing. The bot picked up the song. One
And
song.
it was their song.
No, it wasn't their song. It was.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I mean, and here's the thing. I want y'all to understand. Do you want to know how smart these bots are nowadays? How smart this AI stuff is? How smart it's gotten? They produced an album. I don't remember the exact title of it, but it was basically, the whole thing was it alluded to the 27 Club. Do you guys know what the 27 Club is? I know, Dan, I know you know.
Yeah.
Louis, do you know about the 27 Club? Bill, do you know about the 27 Club? The 27 Club is a weird coincidence in rock music. There are a number of musicians who died under unfortunate circumstances, all at the age of 27. Jimi Hendrix,
Janis Joplin,
Morrison,
Jim Morrison, Kurt Cobain. There's a bunch of other ones, but those are the four that I know. Actually,
John Belushi's in the 27 Club.
Yeah.
Yep.
In Mama Cass.
He was in his 30s.
Mama.
I'm not sure about that one, but so they did this album, and what it was that they used recordings of all of these artists, right, and an AI system, and it was like multiple different AIs working together, and what they did was they created new songs that were written by an AI, performed by an AI, and sound like the original artists, down to even the words that they would use in the song, the chords that would be played on the guitars, the way that they would sing it, their individual inflections, to the point where people heard them and were like, "Oh yeah, I remember that song." No, you don't. That song was
Leg cramp.
Wow.
By the way, Belushi was 33.
But as I was saying, the songs would be played for people, and they would go, "Oh yeah, I remember that song," and they would say, "No, you don't. That song was released in 2021, and it was created by an AI," and it fooled people. People thought there was a new Nirvana song that had never been heard before. Turned out it was part of this 27 Club album. That's how good the AIs are now. They can pick up if you're just no offense to the Wolfhounds, I love them, but they are a small town Irish duo that you know, it's a guy who plays the bagpipe and a guy who plays the guitar, and they're just two goobers from Ringgold and Chattanooga, respectively. Both good guys. I love them. Obviously, they're not topping the charts, but the fact that they even played the songs at all, the AI goes, "Oh yeah, no, the notes are the same. We know what song that is. We're gonna claim that." That is why, by the way, just to point this out, people who cover songs do the karaoke thing. Even if they use a really bad karaoke version and they sing off key, they can still get nailed because the AI goes, "No, the words are there, the notes are there. Not everything's matching up, but we can recognize that it is this specific song."
Yeah, makes you wonder how the industry of reaction videos keeps going. They've got to jump through hoops in order to keep from getting a strike on them.
And here's the worst part about all of this too. Here's the worst part about it will never change because the with the DMCA thing, right? The DMCA is a law, right? Digital Millennium Copyright Act that was pushed through by the RIAA and the MPAA through Congress. They lobbied for this thing. They lobbied hardcore for it, and it controls all of this stuff to where like I said, these corporations, if they wanted to, it doesn't matter if you have fair use or not, they could shut you down, right? And it was supposed to be to prevent piracy, and it does that. But they've taken it a step too far, and there's never going to be any reform on it because why in the world would any of these corporations allow any of this reform when they're making all of this money?
Exactly. Lewis, I was thinking also of River Phoenix that was in the 27 Club.
Okay. Yeah, Joaquin's still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there have been an awful lot, and it's more than a statistically insignificant amount of famous people that have become members of that, unfortunately.
Was James Dean one of them?
Pretty much, yeah.
One of the founding members.
One of the founding members, yeah. And if we ever got a chance to talk to Alex Cooper, he could probably name off a dozen more right off the top of his head.
Oh yeah.
I mean, because he was there for a lot of stuff like that.
Now, maybe Lewis or Dan, y'all can correct me or agree with me. Isn't Alice Cooper the one that'll fire a band member if they come in high?
I don't know, but I know he's been a teetotaler for a very long time.
Yeah, that might have been Zappa actually, but Alice is one of those folks that, despite his public image, he is one of the most devout Christians that you could ever run across.
Yeah,
and I mean, his dad was a preacher, and he went through about 6 or 8 years of
seminary school.
Lost weekend is what I was going to say. There were at least 3 albums he recorded that he does not remember ever singing a note. But
not to be confused with the Lost Weekend that John Lennon had in '75 with Ringo and Harry Nilsson.
I do want to point out, by the way, that there is another musician who is obsessed with the number 27.
Who?
Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
So I had this brilliant idea years ago. Brilliant idea, and I still have this idea, but there's no way it can come to fruition. That I wanted to do a punk cover band that just did Weird Al original songs, none of his parodies, just the original songs, right? But do them in a punk style or like a metal style, and call the band the 27 Club.
He might let you get away with that. He might license that.
Yeah,
he might license it.
I've suggested it to a few people, like, man, we should do this. We should all get together and do this. And they were like, yeah, what instrument are you going to play? And I was like, I can play rhythm guitar, kind of. Screw you. I don't have to. I can sing. I don't have to play.
I can play computer keyboard.
I can play the keyboard, but we were wanting to keep it, it's punk, so we wanted to keep it. I wanted to keep it like, guitars and drums and vocals, and that's it. But I could get up there and do that. I could get up there and do a punk rendition of like Dare
to Be Stupid.
Dare to Be Stupid would be a good one. Nature Trail to Hell in 3D. Everything You Know Is Wrong.
Yep. Weird Al is right up there with Ray Stevens. He ought to be much, much more well known than he is.
To be 100% completely fair, Dan, he's the only artist considered a novelty artist, only one, right, to have a #1 album in the Billboard Hot 100.
Yep. Well, Roger Miller's not considered to be a
I do want to point out, I said
artist.
he has one album. I said he's the only one that has an album in the Hot 100. He has multiple #1 albums and #1 singles.
Yeah. The man is a freaking genius, but with a limited audience for some unexplainable reason.
No, Dan, he doesn't. He really doesn't. He does studio. I mean, he does arena tours.
I know.
He's Van Halen big.
I know, but you listen to Top 40 Radio, and his stuff doesn't show up very often compared to other people that do things that are can be fallen into the class of comedy or parody, and it's a shame because even the stuff that he's not trying to parody, even his own original stuff that isn't even a style parody, is fantastic.
That's the thing I was going to say. It's just that every time he's ever had a #1 single, not a #1 album, but a #1 single, it's always been a parody. The biggest example, I believe, is White and Nerdy, because the Chamillionaire song, Riding Dirty, came out, and it was #1. And then, like a few months later, Straight Outta Linwood comes out, right? White and Nerdy was #1. But it was kind of like one of those things where it was like, well, you did a parody of a #1 song, and that parody resonated with a lot of people, so it ended up being a #1. And the same thing happened with Mandatory Fun, because like the what was it? I think it was Tacky, which was a parody of Happy. And Pharrell Williams' Happy was #1. Tacky was #1. And I think the same thing happened with Blurred Lines and Word Crimes, but I don't remember.
Have you ever seen the green screen video of Al and Donny Osmond doing the first track for White and Nerdy?
No.
It is one of my wife's. Lindsay's been in love with Donny Osmond since she was born. I swear. But
seeing Donnie in that video was hilarious, though. Like randomly Donny Osmond. What the hell?
The whole green screen clip is just Al and Donnie doing the song, and Donnie dancing in the background, and Al singing, and it's just. You get clips of it interspersed with the rest of the official release, but to see those two play off of each other, it's like this is some Martin and Lewis material right here.
Well, Donny Osmond is working on a comeback.
I just want to point out, by the way, I forgot I had this in my pocket. I was at Budget Breaks today getting my brake pads changed because they were grinding, and I found a ball bearing. This ball bearing on the ground.
How
I put it in my pocket.
How reasonable are they?
Okay, so I go in there. Al wants my pads changed because they're grinding.
Yeah.
Right. The first invoice the guy hands me was for $1,100.
Oh, new rotors too, huh?
Oh, he wanted to basically replace the entire front end of my truck. And I was like, I'm not looking at doing that. Like, I do not have the money for that. And he goes, okay, well, I figured you wouldn't want to do any of the suspension stuff. So here, I printed out a second invoice that was just brakes, and it was over $500. And I looked at that one too, and I was like, what in the world? Like, this is way more than I wanted to spend today. He goes, well, I can just put the pads on there if you want, but I didn't print up an invoice for that because I figured, you'd want to be safe. And I was like, how much would it be if you just did the pads? Because as far as I could tell, yeah, he was saying the one rotor was wore down, but I was looking at that rotor; it looked fine to me. It was a little gouged, but I had metal to metal pad, So he prints out the third invoice. He prints it out. It was like $150.
Yep.
Like that's a little bit more reasonable.
Yep. You're talking $40 for the actual parts, and the rest is labor.
Yeah, so it's $90 for the labor, Joe, and then you pay for the parts. The parts is what's jacking the price up so much on all that.
And they will try and add extra stuff. Every place does it.
Oh, yeah.
Every place does it. I was about to get new brakes all the way around on the van when the lockdown started. So I've been going all this time knowing I needed new brakes and listening to the squeal and going, oh, well, yeah, that's definitely $2,000 I don't have to spend now.
I do want to point out one thing for Joe's sake.
Yeah.
Specifically. When he pulled the drum apart, because he checked the drums on the back, right? He pulled the drums apart, he pulls the first one apart, and he's like, okay, this one's still good. Starts to pull the second one apart, and he goes, we hear this noise. We hear ding, 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 ding. And he looks down, and there's a spring, and he goes, well, that's not good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He pulls the drum the rest of the way apart.
That spring does, too.
He pulls the rest of the drum apart, and one of the shoes was wobbly. And so he says, you see this thing right here? And he points at this one thing, and I go, yeah. And he goes, well, there's supposed to be one over here, too. But as you saw, it broke. I said, okay.
Yep.
So I'm thinking my brakes are totally shot, and they're going to have to replace the whole entire thing. It's going to be a nightmare. It's going to cost $1 million. He went through his tool or his parts bins, found a spring, replaced it for free. So they're not that grifty, but still, the whole I just went in there to go get pads. I don't understand why we had to go through all this other crap too. But all right.
Well, I went into one place. I knew I had ball joints and all this and all that, and they said, and I'd already had the parts at the back of the car. That's how much they checked. They didn't even look in the back seat. And they said, well, it looks like you're going to need to replace your lower control arm, this, and this. And so, okay. And then they gave me the big quote, like you said, $1,100. I said, how much if I had the parts and you to put it on? Oh, about $300. And I said, okay, they're in the back seat. He went, you already got them in the back seat? And I said, yeah. He goes, so you already know what's wrong with it? I said, yeah. Okay. They don't like when you know how to work on a car.
No.
The only reason I went down there was
You're muted, Lewis.
The only reason I went down
there. You feel threatened.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
I went down there because, A, I don't have the tools. All right. I mean, the base thing that you need to be able to work on your brakes is a jack. I have one battle jack that I have only for emergencies to change the tire on the side of the road. Joe's seen this thing. It's a piece of crap.
It scared me.
It barely lifts my truck up, right? But it's the only jack I have. And I don't even really have the tools. I mean, technically, if you're doing brakes, like really all you need is like a couple of Allen wrenches and like a screwdriver, and you can take these brake pads off. But I don't even have that. I mean, we don't have any tools here. So basically, if I ever want to work on my truck, I just drive over to my dad's house, which is fine. I don't mind doing that. Thing is, I don't want to bother my dad. I just was like, screw it. Rather than going and bothering my dad, I'll just go pay the $90-something plus over at the Budget Brakes. I don't care. I'll bother my dad with the more important things, like the tie rods being kind of loose and leaking grease. I'll deal with the tie rod situation with my dad. We'll work on it together. We'll make an afternoon out of it. I just I need to talk to my dad about it. I'm not gonna just show up at my dad's house. Hey man, I need to use your tools. I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah. Well, when I got married, I was ASC certified in brakes.
Well, what are you saying, Joe? You saying that anytime I needed to work on my vehicle, I should bring it over to your place?
Well, give me a holler. I can help you.
I appreciate that.
But
Which by help you, Joe, means he can stand there and tell you what wrench to use where.
yeah, no, I'll tell you, when I got married, I went to work for the city, so I didn't continue working with the cars. And they're telling me you need to learn. There's some new stuff. This new braking system coming out called anti-lock braking. That's where my ability of brakes ends. Is at the anti-lock brakes.
I mean, I think my truck has anti-lock brakes, but I'm not sure.
Isn't that computer controlled rather than mechanically done?
The first anti-lock brakes that came out were not computer controlled.
Yeah, they were.
I mean, basically, the entire system is it automatically pumps the brakes rather than locking them down.
And it's one of those things where if you don't have anti-lock brakes, you need to pump. If you do have anti-lock brakes, you do not pump, because if you try to pump, it confuses the system, and then you don't. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the whole thing.
There was a time when I was doing brakes on several people's cars, and the hydraulic cylinder that actuates the brake shoes, I was having trouble trying to compress that and get it so I could get it off of the disc for the disc brakes. So I took a pair of channel lock pliers and I took them apart and I put them together backwards, and I made something that would press that damn thing outwards and eliminate the extra pressure, so you could take the bugger off. And it was just a pair of channel lock pliers. And now I see professional brake shops using something that does the same job that they had to pay an engineer to design. I'm going, I should have copyrighted that bugger.
Should have patented it, yeah.
Yep, I should have patented that thing.
I quit working on cars when carburetors went missing.
Yeah, that's about the same time everything went computer controlled, and I'm going, I can work under a shade tree, but I'm not taking a laptop out there.
No.
So
now, like I said, I watch a YouTube channel, a couple of YouTube channels with these guys who are taking the new modern engine, running E85 and getting 1,500 to 2,000 horsepower out of it off E85.
How?
You tweak the computer. You tweak the computer. All it takes is being able to get in there and access the settings and knowing what to touch and what not to. And
they've got it down now to where they can meter how much fuel each inject. They can meter, adjust the intakes of individual fuel injectors at different RPMs.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it seriously if somebody had a thumb drive. You could just plug in and reprogram whatever the engine settings are on the internal computer to tweak it up to race car status or street car status.
Well, the EPA is also cracking down on them too.
Well, yeah, nobody wants a 1,500 horsepower car on 285.
Yeah. Well, it's going through Congress right now. It's called the RPM Act to prevent the EPA from cracking down on these tuners, because EPA says if a car is built in an assembly plant It can't be ever changed. It can't be turned to a off-road use vehicle. It can't be turned into a race car. And there was some guys out in Colorado.
Good luck enforcing that one.
Well, I'll tell you how much they're enforcing. A guy out in Colorado just got an $18,000 fine for selling a piggyback computer.
To mod a car.
Yeah. And they went light on him.
Somebody's profit margins are exceptionally high, I would say.
Yeah, the EPA's, because they could have hit him for 180,000. The reason they didn't go so high is he turned over all the paperwork of where he bought the computers from, who he sold them to. So now, well, the company that sold them is offshore, so they're clear. But he sold them to like 18 people in the United States.
So he dropped a dime on somebody and got off lightly.
Well, he didn't know he was dropping the dime on them.
Turning over paperwork is pretty much,
Well, it was turn over this paperwork or we're going to hit you with $180,000. So it's, he said first I should have had a lawyer, but instead he just.
But I thought you said they were trying to pass that law, and now you're telling us that they've already fined somebody with it?
EPA says we're going to enforce it. The law's going through to make the EPA stop enforcing it.
Oh,
well, I'm in favor of stopping the EPA from enforcing it.
Yeah. Let them worry about our groundwater and leave our car engines a frick alone.
Oh. Sometimes, and I regret that I have this opinion, but I do. You look at the French Revolution and you go, some of that probably was a good idea.
Yeah. But like Skunk said earlier about Google, absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yep.
And it don't take long either.
Say that about Facebook too, I would imagine.
Yep.
Oh yeah. I mean, Facebook went absolutely corrupt before Google.
Captain Ramius had it good. Sometimes a little revolution is a good thing.
Yep. The only trouble with the revolution is sometimes those wheels revolve around innocent people.
Yeah.
There are lines you need to draw if you're gonna go that route, and altogether too often those lines get crossed. History is one of those things it was made for you to learn from, in retrospect.
Well,
not to emulate. So,
I'm a rule follower, and I've been a rule follower for a long time, but things are just getting too complicated. I mean, I get an email every day from Cumulus Broadcasting with one more hoop we've got to jump through just to do our jobs. I'm a part-timer over there. I get paid less than a freaking convenience store clerk. I get paid less than a lot of people doing that job. I do it as a favor for a friend, But every single day, I'm wasting time jumping through hoops, taking these
Lewis, we're still live.
Courses. Huh?
We're still live, Lewis.
I know. I'm going to tell Kevin Monday.
Okay.
I'm going to tell him, guess what? you're going to start seeing more hours pop up on my timesheet because I'm not doing this crap for free. You know, we've already got the dual authentication to where every time we got to do anything, we have to go through a separate app and a face recognition to prove that I'm me. And now we've got to go through all these security classes to learn how not to click on the wrong thing in an email. And I'm like, you know what? I just want to record news stories and send them in. Just leave me the hell alone. But they're making all this stuff so mandatory that HR will hold your pay if you don't have a certificate that says you know how not to be stupid on the internet. And it only went into overdrive with the Colonial Pipeline situation. Oh, it went ape shit.
Oh, I bet.
That's all I got to say.
Which reminds me in a very strange way, Lewis. So guess what I have to do starting tomorrow?
Hmm.
And this is actually pretty. This is one of those things where it's both a good thing and a bad thing. All right, check us out. I have to go to Knoxville tomorrow. I have to go to Knoxville. I have to go to Knoxville tomorrow night. I have to go to the warehouse, pick up a van, load the van, drive it up to Knoxville tomorrow night, check into my hotel room, sleep, get up the next day, and then start running a route in Knoxville. And my route is actually not in Knoxville. It starts in Knoxville. My route is actually 40 and 81 between Sevierville and Pigeon Forge and all that in that area, Gatlinburg, and
That's state traffic.
Going all the way up to the Tri-Cities, Bristol, Johnson City, and Kingsport.
What time do you have to leave?
Everything in between.
What time do you have to leave?
What, in the morning?
To go to Knoxville.
What, tomorrow?
For the route.
Yeah. So what time do you have to leave to start fill your truck?
Oh, I'm going tomorrow at 7, I think.
7 at night?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you remember
what
me.
I'm doing. I'm going up there tomorrow night, right? And I'm going up there tomorrow night, and I'm going all the way up there, staying the night, and then I start the next day, right? So when I start the next day, on Tuesday, they're gonna bring the routes. Various parcels are gonna be brought to me by somebody else, so I have to meet apparently in a gas station parking lot, and then try to sort out my van from there, which will be fun. At least tomorrow I can do it inside the warehouse, but I'll have to do it in the parking lot on Tuesday, and then that's what I'm going to be doing for the whole next week. And the reason why what Lewis said reminded me of it was that I'm getting a $5 an hour raise to do this. Yep. But
will that raise continue after you're through with this particular task, or is it just a bonus for this particular task?
I think it's a bonus for just this particular task. I don't. Now, it would be really, really funny to me if the person who was in charge of payroll totally forgot to get rid of my $5 an hour.
No, they won't do that.
Yeah, that would last one pay period.
Yeah, really.
That would be.
If you got overpaid for a single minute, they would take it back.
I think that would be really, really funny if she somehow forgot. I think she's on that stuff though. I think she's pretty smart. But it would be pretty funny if she forgot and I was suddenly getting paid $15 an hour working my regular route here in Chattanooga. I'd never complain about anything again. But no, that's what I'm doing next week. I will not be here for the Thursday Stupid O'Clock because I'm going to be up in Johnson City because we're doing a thing. But yeah, that's going to be a very interesting. I've never done this run. Obviously, I've never done this run before, and it's very interesting with the whole like they're putting me up in a hotel, you know. So I guess I should fire up the old Tinder account. I have something to do.
Well, the reason I was asking is because
Anyway.
2:00 in Dalton tomorrow.
I know.
Okay. All right.
I know. Calm down, Joe. I know.
By the
We'll
way,
be-
Lewis, if
we'll
you're
be
not
there.
busy tomorrow
Joe's
afternoon,
saying mandatory.
if you're not busy tomorrow around 2:00, the hotel down in Dalton, we're having an open staff meeting.
Okay.
So you can meet some of the people and overlook our situation.
Overlook or look over?
Both.
Okay.
Oh, I was supposed to have pulled the grill out today and work on it, but the yard's too muddy.
Grill or griddle?
Grill. Because the
Have you
griddle
given
was
up
going.
on the griddle?
Pretty much. I think I'm going to use it for a. Sorry,
What the fuck?
I hit the mic. I pulled a Brian K. Morris.
I know what you did, but it scared the hell out of me because I wasn't expecting that noise.
Um,
Sounds like a 50-gallon oil drum falling down.
okay, guys, quit. No, I'm going to use it as a template to build the stand for the new one. I'm just going to buy a new one and put it on there.
Okay.
Unless you're willing to loan us your griddle top for the weekend.
No.
All right. Hey, you got to admit,
Well, I'm gonna
I
sit
tried.
here. I'm just gonna sit here and be a grumpy Gus then, Lewis.
I'm going to try. Hey, you can't say I didn't try, right?
Those griddle tops are too freaking heavy to be moving around. I mean, I've got my 22-inch portable griddle.
No, I'm going to put a 36 on there because I'm wanting bacon for our hamburgers Friday night.
I'm sorry, Lewis. What was that about things being too heavy? You need me to come over and help you move some stuff?
Nah.
I got no problem going over there and doing some lifting.
Watching
So-
him flag.
So, Joe,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, we were considering joining a boat club, right?
yeah. How did that go?
Well, I mean, we sold the RV, and I told them, I
Yeah.
told the sales lady Nicole that I was going to have to sell my RV before we could consider it.
Yeah.
And well, within a week, I called and let her know that we sold the RV. And so I texted her yesterday. I said, this Lewis Lee, my wife, would like to do the Get Your Feet Wet tomorrow. When can you call us? The Get Your Feet Wet is you take a boat out for 4 hours for $500. And if you join the club, the $500 goes toward the initiation fee.
Yeah.
And if not, then you rent a boat for $500, have a nice life. No problem. So I told her that, and she didn't contact me again for a couple of hours. Then she she didn't contact me until this morning. I sent her another text. I said, not sure when your day starts, but we're ready when you are. She said, haha, my day started with an 8 a.m. tour. I'm back to back most of the day, but we'll call you during a break if that works. She never called. We were expecting to take a boat out today. So I was wearing swim trunks as shorts all day. We kept our schedules open. We were ready to go. We're talking about a $30,000 commitment here between the initiation fee and monthly fees for a 5-year contract. We're talking about a $30,000 commitment to this company based on one decision. And guess what? Because she didn't call us back. I mean, normally a salesperson is like, boom, 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 Johnny on the spot, answering all your questions, getting everything. And then after they make the sale and get you sign the check, then they ghost you. She ghosted me before we even had a chance to write the check. So Denise has decided maybe that's our sign. We don't need to have a boat club membership. So
Well,
when
started
this
to ask.
dipshit finally does call me back, I'm going to say, I don't know what commission is on 30 grand, but you just blew it.
I don't know what kind of boat costs 30 grand. Shit. I mean,
Well, no, I mean, this is a boat club. You pay an initiation fee and then you pay a monthly fee. Okay. And for that monthly fee, you can check out any boat in their inventory. They got everything from fishing boats, ski boats, speed boats, pontoon barges, whatever you want, as many times as you want. Okay. And they've got 100 locations around the country. If we vacation in Lake Tahoe, we can call ahead and reserve a boat. And it's included in our membership fee.
so basically,
Okay,
this
so-
is a condo scheme for boats.
Not a scheme. I mean, it's legit. It's expensive.
Lewis, the way you've been treated, it's a scheme.
He's
It fits-
right, you know.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
It
But the
fits the
thing
definition.
is if you buy a boat, you're going to pay 25, 30 grand anyway. And then you've got to pay $300 a month for a slip. You got to pay for maintenance. You got to pay for insurance. With the club, you pay your monthly membership fee. All you got to do is put gas back in it when you turn it in. And you can have any boat you want. And all the boats are 1 or 2 years old. After 2 years, they sell it for used and get another boat.
I would say buy one of their used ones. And
I still don't want to have that monthly slip fee and all that crap.
oh, come on.
And invariably, Dan, it'll be just like the RV. We started out tent camping, and then we saw somebody with a pop-up. We said, that's cute. We got a pop-up. Then no air conditioning, no bathroom. We saw somebody with a pull behind. Oh, yeah, I want that. I'd be out there on a party barge. I will have paid 35 grand for a nice party barge, and I'm going to see a sexy speedboat go by, and I'm like, damn, I wish I'd gotten that instead.
And here's the other thing too, Dan, that Lewis did bring up, which I thought was not, because I was sitting there when he was describing the situation, and at first I was sitting there thinking, it's like, my dad used to be part of a yacht club. I mean, he's still got a boat. He doesn't keep it at the marina anymore. He doesn't pay the slip. He keeps the boat at the house, and he takes it down there to the dock and drops it in the water whenever he wants to take it anywhere, right? But he used to have a Chris Craft that he kept down at the marina, and he had a slip and all that. So he had to pay the fees and everything else. And I remember that, right? But I was sitting there thinking, I was like, I know slip fees are cheaper than what Lewis is describing. And then Lewis said something very poignant, which was this club has locations all over the country.
Yeah, that's what you're paying for.
That's what exactly. It's you can drive if you wanted to drive to Michigan and run a boat for the 4th of July and watch not Michigan, but Lake Michigan. Like we'll drive to Chicago, go out on Lake Michigan and watch the fireworks. They fire over Lake Michigan near Johnstown. Like my dad and his sister do every year. Lewis could go do that and have a wonderful time and not have to do what my dad does and take a $12,000 boat, hook it up to a pickup, and try to drive to Chicago. You know, he can just show up in Chicago and be like,
"Yeah,
I need
to
rent a boat."
If we bought a boat and wanted to avoid the slip fee, then we would have to trailer it, and neither one of us has a vehicle that could pull it.
Exactly. So
we got an SUV and a sedan.
I get what Lewis is saying. At the same exact time, though, I mean, Lewis makes a really good point. If you're in a business like that and you get treated in that particular manner, how are they going to treat you once you're a customer if they can't even get you in the door?
Exactly.
Yes.
And you know, Denise pretty much said, "That's it." I had no argument. She's right. That was
Lewis,
our sign that was not going to be a good business relationship. Well,
I
Bill,
think you ought to just take the 30 grand and join Bushwood, Lewis. Get you a membership to Bushwood.
I'm not that good a golfer. You
Well,
know.
Hey, I can
Well-
hook you up with a timeshare right
What?
now for
Yeah.
a little bit.
Well, it's not that we've got 30 grand. I said it was a $30,000 commitment.
Oh. well,
Believe me, we didn't get 30 grand for our RV.
I have $1 million question right now.
I'll give you a 64-cent answer.
If you got $1 million, I'll have an answer.
Yeah.
Who
That's
is-
what I was waiting.
Who's
I
this
can
guy
send you a
commenting?
bill.
Who's this guy commenting?
What guy?
Look at the comments.
I'm talking with Dan about that in the background.
Oh, I see what
No,
you meant.
no,
now.
no. There's a different guy. Different guy. Not that guy. Different guy. The
Clem.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know who he is. He's on Dan's page. But yeah, somebody else jumped in from Dan's page and
Yeah, I saw that. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
I don't know what he just started naming off people. I
Yeah.
thought he was talking about us, but
That seems like
because there's 5 of us, he named off 5 people. I didn't know if he was comparing us.
no. That seems like answers to somebody else's questions on a different channel.
Yeah.
So
That's what I
Well,
thought.
see, he said, "Hey Batman, hey Superman." He's probably talking about Bill's stuff in the background, because
Oh, yeah, I see Batman and
Yeah.
Superman.
Yeah.
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 I don't see Superman. Where's Superman?
He,
He's
Oh, way in the
back
back.
there.
there's
He's
a
behind
Christopher
Robin.
Reeve back there.
Yeah, way in the back.
Yeah, he's behind Burt Ward.
Yeah.
but yeah, and then that other person popped in with their name and they said something and it was Mojanor.
automatic
Yeah, Mojanor hit hard.
automatic van hammer. Yeah, well, just because they're on my page don't mean they're good people.
Anybody can discover anything on the internet and just whatever.
Yep.
Especially if you got it posted in public.
Yeah. Well, I have to. So
Yeah.
there are people that visit my page that have nothing to do with my friends list too. So I will have to take note of that name and see if I can drop the band hammer myself.
Well, that's why I was debating whether, posting it to my page is one thing because it's my friends on there. But when I do it on the Artwork Bill Sarton page, there's a lot of people who have liked or followed that page who I don't know them for nothing. And I know when I was getting up to, I forget what the milestone was, 800 or 900 likes on there. One of our fellow people that we know, I won't mention, but and I'm not saying anything bad by it either, but he got a group of his people in there, shared it, and I got the likes by the end of a certain period of time, a very small period of time. So there's a bunch of those people on there that I wouldn't know them at all. And because the show's running live on the Artwork page now, you never know if somebody'd pop in on there either.
Mm-hmm. Well, if I recognize somebody, I will recognize them. If I don't, I ain't got the slightest idea who they are.
Yeah.
And the Aphelion Facebook page might have people from 98 different countries, but my personal page has got family and people that have just liked something I said 15 years ago and decided they wanted to be part of the page and never interacted with me since. And then there are spam bots.
Sorry.
It's all right. Don't worry about it. If you ban somebody from my family, I will catch hell. I will not bring it down on you. But
No, I'm sorry about the spam bots on your page. Sorry.
oh, I have been online since 1995. Believe me, I'm used to spam bots.
Well, it may have been me spamming you, but sorry.
Oh no.
And Skunk, I
spam.
I dropped a link in the private chat for some information you may find of interest.
Oh yeah, I think that Skunk might actually find something useful there. If not, then he can write it off. Oh, it's getting close to the 10-minute mark, isn't it?
No, we're not even 15.
Oh,
We still got 20 or 18 minutes left.
18.
Yeah, that was weird. I'm looking up at my clock on the wall. It's one of those atomic clocks.
Yeah.
And for about 5 minutes, it was an hour behind.
And then it reset?
Yeah. But now what's weird is based on GPS coordinates, sometimes my Apple Watch, if I get close to the state line over here, will ping on a cell tower out of Alabama and will tell me that it's Central Time. But that atomic clock, I told it that we're Eastern Time, so it shouldn't have fritzed out like that. That was weird.
Well, I got mine on my, if I can get it to activate, my Google. It's a Samsung Galaxy watch.
Yeah.
It supposedly in the settings, I got it set for Central, but I'm, about 20 minutes from the Illinois-Indiana state line, and I do cross it every once in a while, and that. But yeah, that'll be something interesting to look forward to, I guess.
Yeah. Well, in December, I go to France, so it should be interesting to see if it keeps the correct time there. But
Well, the Walmart on Signal Mountain Road, the grocery section is Central Time, and the merchandise is Eastern Time, according to your cell phone.
That is a little bit weird there.
I mean, you can stand and actually find the spot. I mean, just move this much.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's really not close enough to the time, the time zone line that it should do that. But
so basically, what you're saying is you can reach for a jar of olives and be in Central Time, and look over at the pickled onions, and it's Eastern, right?
Just about. And actually, if you walk out and sort of look up towards the mountain, you can see the two cell towers. You can actually see the Central Time cell tower.
So just whichever one has the best signal at any given time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the manager stopped me one day because I was doing this. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, look at the time." And he went, "Wow." He pulled his phone out. Huh.
I would have just said, this is a Geiger counter. These pickles are radioactive. I better confiscate them.
Yep.
I'm from the Atomic Energy Commission.
Oh. So I probably willing to bet throughout the rest of the day there were people in Walmart vests going with their phone right there. Well, whoever built that Walmart, whoever poured the concrete floor, were assholes. Because no. I mean laser level all the way across. Okay. They put quarters, dimes, and nickels in the concrete right at the surface when they poured the concrete.
And I bet you tried to pick one up.
Every damn one of them, motherfuckers.
That reminds me of the old trick quarter I used to have. It was basically a nail that the head of the nail looked like a quarter, and you would hammer it down into the wood floor. Hey, Dan, I had to show you something the other night, or last night when I was talking to you and Pops, and I didn't have it handy, but one of my purchases I got.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
Over the weekend. This is an original one. This isn't a repop from Walmart or anywhere, but in fairly decent shape. The other one, of course, is the second movie.
Yeah.
And they're going to go in frames up on the walls. And so, and also, you remember when Apple did this?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Beatles on apples and that. And okay, the record that came with it was not a Beatles record, and they wanted $5. I paid $10 for the albums. By the way, they wanted $5 for this Beatles on Apple sleeve, and it did have an Apple record in it, but it's Mary Hopkins. Once I don't recognize, no, it's not the song you think it is. Those were the days. Streets of London on one side, and I'm sorry, it's hard to read this. And I just can't read it. But anyway, it's one.
That's why I keep one of these close by.
Yeah, well, I'm holding a stupid microphone in one hand, so I got a copy though of What Is Life and Apple Scruffs also, and then the other one was Band on the Run with 1985, and that, and Hobby Lobby does make frames for 45s with or without the sleeves and that. So I'm going to probably at least buy a couple of them, because one thing you may or may not know about Hobby Lobby, what they're doing right now, besides their 40% coupon that you can get printed up for any one item, they do the frames 50% off all their frames, including customs, every other week. And this is continuous. I thought maybe it was just I don't know if they started that during the pandemic or if it's always been like that, and I've never known, but the lady at the closest Hobby Lobby to us is over in Champaign, Illinois. So that's about 20, 30 minutes away. And she said, if you ever want to get any more frames, she said, call us first and we'll let you know if it's the week that we have the 50% off or not. And that one that I did, Dan, I think I did show you and Pops last night, the double album frame of Wings Over America with it opened up.
That was really nice.
That was a $20 frame that I got for $10. And then the regular album frames that would hold just, the normal size albums are normally $9.99. And of course, I got those half price too.
Well, you reminded me of something that I got back in the day, and you might enjoy this, and Skunk probably will laugh his ass off. But it was an Adamant 45, and it was supposed to be Adamant on both sides, but the A side was an Adamant single. The B side was also supposed to be, but it turned out to be the Rockford Files.
Oh my God.
So I have a collectible It was a mispressing.
I'd
And
say.
yeah, I mean,
So-
the first day I bought it, I flipped it over so I could hear the B-side, and here was a theme from the Rockford Files, and I'm going, I don't recall Adam Ant having ever recorded that, so
maybe his dad was Mike Post.
I don't think so. No,
I will
I
say
don't
that
think so at all.
there is I have a 12-inch single that I have in my collection that pissed me off and drove me nuts because it was specifically Dawkins' Dream Warriors from Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it says on there that side A of this 12-inch single is Dream Warriors. Okay, that's a song from the movie. It's obviously it's going to be side A. Side B was Into the Fire, which was also featured in the film, and Paris is Burning, which was not featured in the film, but is another song by Dawkins. So you'd figure, all right, I see what they're doing there. So they got the single, might as well put a couple of different songs on it. Go ahead, right? Paris is Burning is not on the album at all. So that drives me insane because I'm like, the sleeve says it's supposed to be on there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not actually on the record, so that's weird.
Well, maybe it
Back
was something
in
that
the
got
70s,
pulled.
I bought a Black Sabbath album. One of the songs listed as being on the album is not on the album at all. And I'm going, did they have to cut that, but nobody told the printer, or what? And I'm going, I'm hanging on to this one. Another thing that really amazed me was at one time there was a small private record shop, used record store in Athens where you could buy some really off the wall stuff, and went in, and there is a 12-inch radio single of an Alice Cooper song, and it's the same thing on both sides. So no matter how drunk the DJ was, he couldn't get the thing wrong. He just put it down and play it.
Oh, that's like when you bought the 45 of Help. You know, you always notice below it said from the movie 8 Arms to Hold You, which was the working title before they just decided to call the movie Help.
Mm-hmm.
And but the weirdest 45, Skunk was talking about different songs on all that. The weirdest 45 I ever owned in my life was the classic "They're Coming to Take Me Away." Haha.
I remember that one. Yes.
Do you remember what was on the back?
The 3rd, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Napoleon the 14th.
14th. Okay.
14th.
Oh,
yeah.
my.
So if you turned it over to the B side, you looked on there, and the label was basically a mirror image of the A side, you know, with "They're Coming to Take Me Away" printed backwards and Napoleon the 14th backwards, and every other little bit of information's printed backwards on that label. And of course you play it and the whole song is played in reverse on the B side of the 45.
My goodness.
Thinking about the theme of the song, why not?
Yeah. What you got, Joe?
I've got the first 45, the first single released by Starship after they dropped the Jefferson and their ongoing fight with their record label, and it's on Grunt Records, and it's "We Built This City." Epic Records, Charlie Rich, "Most Beautiful Girl in the World."
Mm-hmm.
But one of my favorite record labels was Buddha.
Yeah.
And this is Ohio Players, "Yummy, Yummy, Yummy." I got love in my tummy.
Oh,
and does anybody remember
marching band?
Kama Sutra? Records.
Oh, okay.
This was Love and Spoonful. Do you believe in magic?
Oh, wow. The only thing I'm really familiar with their commercial success was Summer in the City. Or was
Oh
that
no, Do
somebody
You Believe
else?
in Magic was huge.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
And
That was probably back in the day before I started reading labels.
Daydream.
A&M
was another one.
Records. A&M Records. Nazareth. Love Hurts.
I like the flip side. I like the song on the flip side.
Hair of the Dog.
That's my theme song.
And finally, and I've got a big stack of 45s, but Dean Martin, Everybody Loves Somebody on Reprise Records.
Oh, yeah. My hero.
Love Dean Martin's voice.
Now, I do want to point out that I never owned a copy of this. I only found out about it after the fact, but it is one of my favorite things that has ever been done with a vinyl record. So there was this record that was put out by Monty Python. And it was a collection of their sketches, and it was called Matching Tie and
Handkerchief. Yeah.
So here was the first thing. You didn't always get the matching tie and handkerchief. And whenever you bought the album, you could have both, just one, or neither, which was to create massive confusion. Both sides of the record, it's a 12-inch record, right? It's 33 1/3. Both sides of the record are labeled side B, and the actual side B of the record is double grooved. So the first track is always the same, but then it'll sometimes play something different depending on how the needle goes. When it gets to that point, it'll actually start playing a different set of skits.
It was the original 3-sided album.
And they did that. They did so much on that album to screw with people. I love it.
Mm-hmm. I remember that back in college when dangerous things were being consumed at the time. So,
Skunk, Molginor.
Yeah. Molnir. You pronounced that wrong. It's Molnir.
Molnir. So I should Molnir?
I would.
Done.
What we got here? I'm missing
lunatics.
That was some weird stuff, man.
And the thing is, all the weird stuff tonight's coming from Dan's channel.
And here's the other weird.
Anything less?
Here's the other weird thing, though, and I do want to point this out. But that is the second time. That is the second time that somebody has sexually harassed me in the chat.
Yes.
I'm really not that good looking. I think they're just there to screw with me.
Yeah, well.
Hey, they can't do it
it's
now.
It's time to say goodnight anyway. So
yeah,
good night, everybody.
And we're actually going to do Last Man instead of After Show.
All right, you want?
I already lost. I'm leaving right after this. I don't know if y'all see me yawning, but I'm tired.
All right. But yeah, we're gonna roll it into the Last Man Standing on Dan Hollifield's channels. So thanks guys for being here. Appreciate it. Thanks everybody. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Lewis, maybe I'll see you tomorrow. Maybe not. You probably forget by then.
Probably not.
Okay.
I mean, I probably won't forget.
So you're gonna roll High Flight and then let me roll.
Pretty much, I think.
Yeah.
LMS intro.
Yeah, but the thing is, it has High Flight has to end before you switch, or it will shut it off.
No
All
problem.
right.
Oh.
So
He already left. He's tired of it. He had to go.
Yeah. And with that, we're going to say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
have slipped the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God.
Hello and welcome to the Stupid O'Clock After Show here, and this is Last Man Standing, and I'm your host for however long I can stay awake. And here we have one of our prize guests, Bill Sarton. So, and Joe Dog is here too, but he is away from keyboard at the moment. So. We are just going to continue on pretty much where we had left off. So, Bill, did you go to the auction tonight or anything like that? Or
Friday.
Friday. Okay.
Coincidentally, the Hard Day's Night album that I showed you, they had one just like it, actually a little bit better condition. And I said, no, I bought one last Saturday. I'm not going to get a duplicate, and it ended up going for $5, which was half the cost of what I paid for mine, and I thought mine was exceptional deal. So they had that, 2 Elvis albums, and a Ricky Nelson album.
Which Elvis album?
Elvis Golden Records. I think it was called. It was the greatest hits that had all the gold records across the front, predominantly red color. Then Blue Hawaii soundtrack was it. The Ricky Nelson one I did not recognize, but it was one of the early ones.
Oh yeah, it would have to be really.
I mean, I know he regained or came back up into popularity in the early 70s with Dark Monkey and that.
Yeah.
Even saw him on late 70s on an episode of the Hardy Boys. Where I don't know if he played himself, but he played a rock star.
Yeah. Now, which one was it that showed up on MTV with something in the 90s? I don't think it was Ricky Nelson, but it was one of the people from the same era coming back and going, "Hey, I'm still here." I can't remember who it was. So that was probably a silly thing to say, but trying to keep up. But now, okay. Oh, it was MTV. So no big deal. There was so much variety on this stuff back then that you really you couldn't keep track of who was doing what. But it was one of those 50s child stars from some sitcom or another that made it big as a musician later. Wasn't somebody from Partridge Family, I can tell you that right now.
All right, guys. I got to get up sort of early for me tomorrow because I got to get the truck ready and turned around in the muddy yard. Probably get it stuck.
Well, at least you've got clean gas in it now because somebody came along and providentially drained the gas tank for you with all that old gas that was aged away.
Yep.
And Nick Tucker, if you got nothing better to do,
come on in.
Please come on in. This is my late night crew, Nick and Bill and other insomniacs as required. So,
Yeah, plus I got to leave and put a little more gas in it. So.
Yeah. Well, good luck. I mean, I hope you don't get stuck in the yard.
Yeah. Bill, did you hear what I did when we had the big gas shutdown? I had gas in my truck that was almost 2 years old. So I told everybody, I'm not worried about gas. I've got the big yellow truck with the big gas tank that's sitting on full that I filled up before the pipeline shut down. That wasn't a lie, was it?
Yeah, technically.
And if it gets bad, I've got gas I can pull. Somebody came and siphoned just about all the gas out of the truck.
Oh, man.
And it was a 2-year-old gas.
It's 2-year-old gas.
Oh, that was almost as good as the story I heard about the people that had an RV and somebody tried to siphon the gas out of it, but picked the wrong tank.
All right, I'm done, guys. I'm gonna knock out my Facebook memories and play my solitaire game, and then I'm out of here. I'll be in bed in 30 minutes. Good night, y'all.
Good night, Joe. Thank you very much. Let's see. I've got a better arrangement here. There we go. Now we got some full screen action going on. The background's nice, but I like to be able to see what's going on, especially now with this one going. I have to look at the comments and whatnot, so I can't have this full screen like I do on Stupid O'Clock when somebody else is running it. So, And now I can see your action figures much better in the background there. How old is that Batman?
Which one?
The one right over your head.
Oh, the Michael Keaton one.
The
That
the largest one. I can't see its face from here, so
yeah, in that one right there.
right over your head. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Not that old. About 7 or 8 years old.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of the company. I still have the box that it came in, but that's a 18-inch tall Batman, and it's got a fabric cape and kind of rubberized action figure. Now the Adam West and
Yeah.
Burt Ward ones are Hot Toys. They came out just about the same time, about 7 or 8 years ago. Those things were, I think they were about $250 a piece.
Whoa.
Hot Toys, predominantly the 12-inch, which
Yeah.
is at 1/6 scale, and they just have so many wonderful things. I've got several Hot Toys, and in the Christopher Reeve Superman in the background is also a Hot Toys one.
Yeah.
They're all cloth costumes, very very accurate on the costumes, and if you would pick up any of them and look at it, and the textures and the colors and that on the utility belts and the capes and everything, they got it down to a T. I really love Hot Toys,
Yeah.
and
It looks excellent.
oh yeah, they're wonderful, and they and then the little red shelf above, which isn't really too much in the screen at all, but I got a lot of my older ones up there. I have a 1974 Mego Mr. Spock still on the card. And, on the very top shelf, I have a Captain Action.
Oh, I remember Captain Action. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
He's in the box.
Not only the action figure, but the comic book, and they had a cartoon briefly.
Yeah, and I have, I think, 3 or 4 comics. One of them, Superman guest starred
Now,
because DC was making it.
yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a collectible series. I don't know if it was the comic books or what, that actually had the coins that Action Man was using to transform to the different superpowers or whatever it was. I don't know. It's been so long ago. I mean, I was a kid in the '60s, so.
Now okay. That was Captain Action.
Oh, okay.
No,
okay.
did I say Captain Action?
No, you said Action Man, and I immediately.
Well, Action Man is
transposed
the British.
both.
Okay, and I goofed on both accounts. I have Action Jackson, which was a Mego action figure. If you remember, Mattel had Big Jim in the 70s, Big Jim, Big Jack, Big Jim's Wolf Pack, and that, which I know if Nick Tockert's on here, he's probably going nuts right now. Through the memories of all these old action figures. But no, I have a Captain. I said it again. I have an Action Jackson in its original box over there. I do have some Captain Actions, but I think the ones, I don't know if that's the ones that you're thinking of or not, but when the Captain Actions came out, which was, he always kind of looked like John Wayne or something, basically, but he had darker hair, and he had all those different costumes. You could dress him up as
Batman.
That's the one I remember. It was
The Phantom.
1960s, and he had
Yeah.
some magic token for each different character that he would assume.
Well, he in the I think the 67 or 68, which would have been the second or third issues of
Mhm.
of the action figures, they actually came with flickerings
Oh yeah,
of whatever particular costume we bought. And yeah, I do have a Batman flickering from the Captain Action one. I actually purchased at the flea market separately.
now the Action Man, that was something totally different, wasn't it?
Action Man was the British version of G.I. Joe.
Oh,
And
okay.
he had his own cartoon briefly, and I've actually posted it on every day is Saturday.
Now I
Uh,
remember something. I remember something recently going by the same name, but it might not have been the same concept. And I think it lasted like 2 seasons. And I found it on one of the Play Cartoon Online websites or something like that, where it's a repository of lots of different stuff. But it was fairly. It looked fairly modern, and it was CGI animation rather than cell animation, and the stories were kind of hit or miss, but the actual concept behind it was pretty cool. Is what I thought, but it was just like no matter what problem he wound up getting into, he would get himself to concentrate and shout his code phrase, and all of a sudden his brain would kind of start connecting the dots between the different pattern that the previous animation had gone on about, all the stuff that had happened, and he would find his way, computer like, almost like Mr. Spock, to get to a solution and still be this incredibly gymnastic sort of hero. I mean, he'd be in the middle of a ski race or something, and all of a sudden things would go down, and he'd have to connect the dots to be able to avoid an avalanche and smack the villain upside the head or whatever. And oh, it's been a while. It's been several years since I actually watched them, but despite of the CGI animation, it was still pretty good. It was still pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of CGI animation and that, but I mean, there are some things that,
Well, yeah. If it's done right, it works. If it's done wrong, oh, it's fingernails on a chalkboard sort of thing.
When any computer animation with me, I'm not super critical of it because obviously I love stuff like Toy Story, all the Toy Story movies.
Yeah.
What was the movie about the house? What was it called? Up? The house.
Yeah. The house on balloons. Yeah.
The one where you always cry at the end.
Oh yeah. There are several of those. There's something to be said for traditional cell animation, particularly when it's done really, really well. I mean, almost like each cell is an individual painting rather than something generated automatically by some kind of system. But remember the Max Fleischer, the Fleischer brothers Superman cartoons back in the 40s? Those were beautiful. I mean, you'd swear every frame of that was hand painted, and the actual modeling was rotoscoped to an actor, and they used the same sort of technique in the Kirk Allen Superman live action serials, when Superman flew, it turned into Fleischer Brothers rotoscoping animation, and it they did it so well. If you didn't have a high definition sort of screen to watch it on, you would not be able to tell that it was not actual film footage. But
Yeah, and I've heard some people kind of bash that, and I
I
never could
wish they
get it
wouldn't.
because I thought it was so good. It's like, okay, and you talk about other serials that were out at the time. You think
Yeah,
about the Adventures of Captain Marvel. Whenever
I
they
was
would
about to
show
say
him,
that. Yeah,
they would ever show him flying. It basically looked like a Captain Marvel action figure, and they had it on like a zip line or something. The
yeah,
way it was
exactly,
going,
exactly. That's exactly what it was. It was a mannequin on a zip line. It was the same technique they used for the spaceship in Rocket Man,
right?
or one of the other two Rocket Man serials. And it I Now I have watched those old Republic serials time and time again, and over the years I have noticed several times they have repeated a shot. They didn't copy something from something else, but they go, "Oh, this worked in this one, so let's film it again this way." Same
Right.
same sort of thing, but with our stuff, and it was some really dynamic shit stuff, and thank goodness I'm not being edited. Uh,
Yeah.
no,
Well,
I have.
this is kind of your version of the Green Room.
Well, yeah, but it's still tied to stupid o'clock. So
Yeah.
I do have to kind of behave a little bit. It's not the total freedom of the green room, but I don't want to get Joe Dog in trouble, so I can't just totally cut loose. But and I think that's why everybody left, because
Well,
it's not
I
because they need
know
sleep.
it's you know, I know you. I know sometimes he has to kind of keep skunk on leash about certain things.
Well, yeah, yeah,
That
and
you know,
um,
I think it's mostly just fine. But the thing is, what you were talking about using different stuff on there. All right, the 19. You're going back to the cartoon thing here.
yeah,
The the 1977 New Adventures of Batman, which I think when we were talking
mhm.
about filmation.
I was about to
Uh,
ask if that was one of the
yeah,
filmation ones, because that's the ones that I remember the best.
and what they used in that, with the exception of, I know, the opening credits and the ending credits, which always love the ending credits to the New Adventures of Batman, where it showed Batman going across the rooftops, jumping and grabbing a hold of a flagpole and flipping down to the sidewalk. And the same way with Tarzan, the Lord of the Jungle, where
Hmm.
it kept showing him swinging through the jungle on the vines and stuff, and going through the ending credits and that the fluidity in that animation was just
Yeah,
beyond amazing. But in the
it
1977 New Adventures of Batman, they actually took uh, straight from the 1968 Batman and Robin cartoons, and you get looking at it, and they freely admitted that they did that when they do it, and just clips of this and that. Of course, they rearrange it to give it
yeah,
a new appearance for the new stories and stuff. But it literally was taken.
that. Take it
Yep.
from that.
Filmation did an entire series of stuff doing the rotoscopic animation, and as you mentioned, the Tarzan that they did, that was some of the. It looked the realist while still being a cartoon. If I'm expressing that correctly, there's a lot of things that they might have had to cut corners, but they really had some believable movement of the different characters, and they did that with a whole bunch of things.
Oh yeah, Black Star, Flash Gordon.
Yeah,
Flash Gordon was wonderful when you see him walking in, and once again, the fluidity of something good. And then even with Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids, when you see them all walking together down the sidewalk, each one of them had their own special movements
yeah,
that they did, but much the same as when in the earlier episodes when they would always have a song in the episode. There's Bill on the playing the trash can drums, and how Rudy, did the little movements with the guitar and all that. All the
yeah.
there
The
was
rich guy had an actual musical instrument, but
yeah. Although they would keep switching back and forth from him playing a real electric guitar and amplifiers to playing. I can't remember what it was. It almost looked like a banjo, but it was like some homemade thing, like
yeah. And one of them had the wash tub bass, and yeah. I remember those fondly. I really do remember those fondly. Yeah. I'm going to have to leave you on your own for a second while I run off to the fridge. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, just monologue. I mean, you've seen The Incredibles. You can monologue.
I will land.
Yeah, 0 point energy. That's what's important. Yeah.
Sorry. Well, while Dan takes that last drink, so he can get rid of it on the way, and that because, like they always say, you never buy that drink, renting it. And I will just go on and continue, I guess, talk about Filmation. And Filmation was such a wonderful company, and I always loved it. And it's not to diss any of the other ones because Disney did wonderful stuff early on, and of course Fantasia and Snow White and different things, and Rankin Bass did wonderful things either with all the holiday stuff or when I was talking with Dan and Pops Van Zant last night, we got talking about all the Bashki, Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit stuff and that. There's plenty of them that do wonderful things, but with me, least-wise, a lot of the superhero stuff, I always loved Filmation about the best and that. So, but a lot of, every animation company always had something special that deemed them, this is their thing, their branding and all that. So while you were gone, I was just saying that as far as superhero cartoons and that goes, Filmation was always been my favorite, but not the discs like Rankin Bass or any of the other ones that did very special things on their own,
Well,
Disney.
I mean, you've got to respect the company that did the original Johnny Quest. I mean, those were beautifully drawn.
Yeah.
And
best theme song ever.
And even though they reused the same 8 voice actors the entire time,
Mhm.
You, as a kid, you didn't notice because they were doing their best not to do something obviously the other guy. So it might have been uh, Dr. Quist and Race doing 6 different voices in the same cartoon, but you didn't notice it as a kid because they actually did different voices.
Right.
Uh,
Well,
uh,
as brilliant as Ted Knight was um doing
mm,
stuff, all the voice acting he did over the years, I will say that when I used to watch the original Super Friends, I could pick up when he was doing 2 or
yeah,
3 different ones. He would
yeah.
alter it, but just didn't seem to be quite enough, you know, to make a believer out of me. But I still loved it, you know.
Well, it was more obvious after you'd seen the sitcom. Was it Mary Tyler Moore that he was live acting in, or was it a different one?
Yeah, it was Mary Tyler Moore.
Yeah,
And then after that, it
once
was,
you got that, yeah,
yeah, Too Close for Comfort after that. With,
once you got familiar with his voice as that what was it, Ted Baxter character, uh,
Mhm.
you you could go back and watch the old cartoons and go, that's him, that's the guy.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Because you'd hear him, you know, well, like on Super Friends, it was, you know, at the Hall of Justice,
Yep,
and then
exactly.
you get hearing that, and then in the back of your mind, because I was a fan of the Mary Tyler Moore show vividly. I could hear him saying, "Hello, Lou. Hello, Mayor," and
Yep.
which I can't do Ted Knight, but
Oh,
anyway,
I couldn't either, but I don't think anybody alive can. I
you
mean,
know,
there are some people who have passed on that probably could have. I mean, no voice was beyond Gorshin. I mean, seriously, he could do anybody.
he was
Uh,
brilliant,
yeah,
brilliant.
Rich
And
Rich Little might be able to do it, but I don't even know if he's still with us anymore.
I don't know. I'm not sure, but I'm one of those people. As far as impressionists, I actually, even though all through all the celebrities that Rich Little did, and by far he was pretty much the king in the '70s as
Hmm.
far as that went. But I was always a bigger fan of Frank Gorshin, and because he put so much into it, and who he would be impersonating sometimes was a celebrity and sometimes wasn't,
Hmm.
and but I watched a YouTube video, and I'm sure it's still up, and I can't remember the song, but he was dressed like the Riddler,
Yeah.
and he had a bunch of girls with him that were dancers and singers and stuff, and it was basically the Riddler singing a a song, a Batman style song, and he was absolutely amazing doing it.
Oh
I
yeah.
I laughed and laughed and laughed in that because I enjoyed it so much all through the 3 minute song that he did as the Riddler. I mean, he was really. You say, "Oh yeah, he was milking that character and that." Well, yeah, it was a cash cow for him.
Yeah,
Why not?
really, really. I mean, have you ever seen that one science fiction movie that he was in? I can't remember the title right this minute, but it was uh, the little spaceman with hypodermic needle fingers and whatnot, and Gorshin was a heavy drinker, and
Hmm.
it turns out that well, spoiler alert for something that people probably have not seen since the 40s. 50s. Let me get the era right. It was the Red Scare era. So all aliens were analogs for communist invaders. But Attack of the Saucer Men, I think it was called.
Oh, I think they showed that on Svengoolie one time.
Yeah, it's actually available on one of the classic movie channels on YouTube. You might have to hunt for it, but if you know the name, you can find it. And it's uncut, no commercials or anything like that. And it's just you go. People laughed at this. This is brilliant. Of course, they laughed at it. It was
Oh
brilliant.
my.
But
Speaking of Sven Gulli, hi Rich. Rich Cause is a friend of mine on Facebook, but yeah, he really, yeah, didn't he? I know he had the drinking thing going on, but was he a gangster or something prior to it? Or I'm trying to pick it out, but
he was somebody basically an entrepreneur down on their luck, trying to get a break, but he wasn't a gangster. But he in the movie he had this heavy drinking problem, and it turned out because the aliens were actually injecting alcohol into people, or the cow, as it turned out. It turned out they OD'd him on alcohol, and he died. His character died, but his partner was a non-drinker and wound up getting injected too, but only wound up getting drunk rather than dying. So, yeah, that was a plot point in the thing. The special effects were not spectacular, but if you can sit there and go, well, I'm going to turn off all of the stuff that I came to expect from 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s special effects and go, this is the best they could do at the time. The costume work was not bad. The script was better than average. The acting was definitely better than average. And it's just, it gets laughed at now because it was sort of the shock theater Svengoolie sort of thing that they would laugh at. MST3K would have really had a ball with it, but if you were sitting in the theater and didn't know about any of that, it's one of those things where you go, "This is silly, but I like it." I mean,
yeah, I can get some enjoyment out of a lot of stuff like that. And different reasons, like watching Lost in Space. I was all about the characters back when I was a kid watching it. Now I see it, I'm like, my Lord, how did I take this seriously? But then it's same way with the Batman TV show, The Camp. Let you enjoy it for a different reason.
Yep. And what was really weird to me was they were doing Green Hornet at the same time, but it was played totally seriously. The camp was not there.
Yeah. And they were killing people in the Green Hornet.
if they had done the Adam West, Burt Ward, Batman and Robin at the same tone that they were doing Green Hornet, oh man, they would have won Academy Awards for this stuff. It would have been top notch, but they chose to go for the camp, and that's just a choice they made. It's probably was not the best one, but it worked at the time.
Yeah, and even if it wasn't Adam West, I know one of the other people that tried out for the role of Batman and Bruce Wayne was Lyle Wagner. That could have been just the same amount of camp.
It could probably knowing Lyle from his later career, it probably could have been more camp.
Yeah, how he was in Wonder Woman, I definitely see the same style of camp in it,
The first season,
Mhm.
The second season when they brought it up to the
Present
70s
day.
instead of being in
Yeah.
the World War II era.
Mhm.
They still had some elements of camp, but it was a little bit more serious.
Yeah.
Not a huge amount, but you know.
Well,
And I'm gratified to see that those things still have an awful lot of love from the fans, and they're willing to overlook the limitations from the
mhm.
time period and from the the mood they were trying to set, sort of thing, whether it was camp or whether it was serious. Uh, but there are still a lot of people that just absolutely love that. That absolutely just, and I imagine that most of those are people like you and me that grew up with it, and just this absolute fondness for it. Um, I remember back when I was a kid, I'd I'd wake up on Saturday mornings and turn the TV on while the test pattern was still on, and the first thing they'd show would be Buster Crab, either Flash Gordon or oh, F Asia. Now the other one just slipped my mind. I can't get my mouth to say it. Buck Rogers.
Buck Rogers. Yeah.
Yeah, an episode of those serials. Uh, they would play the entire serial, and then they'd go to a cartoon, usually Astro Boy or Eighth Man or something like that.
Mhm.
Sometimes in later years it would be Kimba the White Lion or the Mighty Hercules,
Yeah.
something like that. Although they did tend to save Hercules for the Sunday shows rather than Saturday mornings. I
Yeah.
never could
They
figure
were
that out.
Sundays, and Gumby was on
Oh
or
yeah,
was
Gumby and
or
Pokey, yeah,
Gumby and
and
Pokey and Davy and Goliath.
Davy and Goliath. Yes, indeed, I have fond memories of both of those. Davy
Now,
and Goliath. Davy and Goliath were usually on Sundays because they had this. They had the message to impart.
mhm.
So,
and
and
and I think it was some evangelical network or something that put them on too, or
I,
something.
I
I forget, but
I'm trying to remember. I want to say it was somebody that was Methodist, but
could have been. Yeah.
that's not as evangelical as what we've got nowadays.
Oh
So,
yeah. But you mentioned Astro Boy on there,
oh
and
Lord, yes.
I just put out the very first episode of Astro Boy on the Every Day is Saturday Facebook page just
Mhm.
a couple days ago, either Thursday or Friday. And I found it in uh, one of my little connections that I have for cartoons and that.
Mhm.
They're kind of dwindling a little bit. It used to be everybody said, "Where are you getting all these cartoons, this and that, or whatever?" And I know I turned Brian K. Morris on that Watch Cartoons Online
That's a very
website.
good one. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It used to be
and
even better, but now they're going almost totally anime.
well, they have an anime section in there, but then they're supposed to have well, at least the last time I was in there, which had been a couple months ago, supposed to have a section just for regular cartoons, and then another section for movies, and then one
Yeah.
more section which eludes me what category that is. But
Well, they used to have stuff like um, Thunderbirds and
mm,
uh, Fireball XL5 and stuff like that with the Jerry Anderson Super Marionation stuff, which I
mm,
grew up with, and then they had the more the more traditional animated stuff. I wish I could find a collection of all the original Fletcher Brothers Popeye, because some of those things were freaking
I I
surreal.
I put some of those on there. a lot of the black and white ones.
Yeah.
One of my connections.
Yeah, the ones I remember best were definitely pre-color, but they were it was one of those things where you had to wonder what kind of drugs these people are on, and we're going, wait a minute now,
Yeah.
this is the 30s and 40s. They didn't have drugs back then. Well, maybe they did, but I didn't know about it. But
I don't know, what year did Reefer Madness come out?
That might have been the 20s. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But
yeah, generally, for the most part, now there were some exceptions, but for the most part, black and white Popeye was Fleischer. By the time he went color, he went to Paramount.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
and that's basically what he stayed with for the duration.
And then in the 60s, they started taking the violence out, and we're going, what's the point?
Right. Well,
but no, those early Fleischer stuff, there was one I fondly remember, but I have not been able to find a copy of it anywhere. But Popeye pretends to be sick in order to get Olive Oil's sympathy, and he winds up in this hospital, and the orderlies are taking him through doorways that open one way one time, and they turn around, come back, and it flips top to bottom instead of opening to the side, and I really lack the words to describe how surreal some of this stuff was. And I'm going, my parents used to watch that in a movie theater, and then they watched a episode of some Republic serial, and then they got to see a movie as well as a newsreel, and I'm going, these were happier times than what I was growing up in back in the we're all going to die because of the Russian nuclear bombs sort of 1960s that I grew up in.
Well, a lot of the Betty Boop ones were
Oh yeah.
very, very strange. I know there was, and I don't know if this was the controversy that I was reading about the other day. There was one where I believe they had an animated Cab Calloway doing
Mm-hmm.
She was playing that. Now, wow, which I totally love that song. And
It was Minnie the Moocher, as I recall.
Yeah, Minnie the Moocher, and I used to have the original 78 of Minnie the Moocher, and I'm trying to think of what label it was on.
I wouldn't recognize it anyway. I don't know enough about 78.
Yeah, I was thinking the Bluebird label, but that was mostly Glenn Miller's, at least for the popular stuff. Which as popular as Moonlight Serenade, like one was.
Yeah.
I have the hardest time. I've always wanted to find it, and I think that night I was talking to you and Anna, and she was actually looking them up for me online, and she did find some on there. But like going to the auction or going to a flea market or whatever, and you see somebody's got like 4 or 5 huge, 6 foot tall stacks of 78s. I'm like, do I really want to go through all those to try to see if I can find an original Moonlight Serenade on the Bluebird label? And I used to do it, without thinking about
it. It's like going to a comic book store and going through the cutout bins looking for one thing you remember from your childhood.
Yeah, and that's the only kind of comics I buy anymore. I don't buy anything new. I definitely support all my independent friends, in comics, and most recently Cindy Kep with Animal Eye, which I'm greatly looking forward to getting my physical copy, or as she calls it, floppy copy.
And Ted's Ted's new comic. That
Yeah,
I mean,
that looks real interesting.
his artwork. I mean, it's all watercolor. It looks absolutely beautiful. So I am looking forward to that. Seriously. Now, back about 15 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, when downloading things from the cloud was not considered a criminal act, just kind of rude, I managed to find a series of things that was extremely early comics and oh, shut up, computer. I thought I had turned this thing off. Somehow or another, Alexa thought I was asking her a question. I'm going, no,
Oh,
shut up.
yeah.
I'm
I'm
going,
surprised my Galaxy smartwatch hasn't started talking.
yeah,
It uses Bixby of all things. And,
yeah. Well, this was Timely Comics, Fawcett Comics, Marvel, DC, and Charlton Comics and things like that. And they were just these huge downloads. I mean, epically huge downloads of entire runs of stuff from way back in the day till just recently at that time. And I found going through after I had actually gotten the packages, I found some of the Black Hawk comics that I used to buy as a kid, and some of the Superman and not Justice League. No, what was the one with them as teenagers in the 24th century or whatever?
Teen Titans.
No,
24th century. Superboy and Legion of Superheroes.
Legion of Superheroes. That's exactly right. Yeah. And there were all sorts of things in there. There were black and white comics of Larry Niven short stories, and there were things that were eerie and creepy from the Warren magazine's publications. There was, I mean, it's a huge collection of stuff, and I will not live long enough to read everything that I downloaded, unless I didn't do anything else the entire day. And I've still got a day job, so that takes care of 8 hours of my day, and then I come home and fall asleep in my chair trying to read my email, and then wake up in time to do something like this. So we've still got one audience member. God only knows where they are. But, oh, heavens. Well, nobody has been making any comments, so I'm going to go ahead and full screen this. I did send Nick Tuckert a link to get here, but he may be otherwise occupied. He is a family man.
Yeah.
So,
well, I know he just recently posted his son got his shot. COVID shot or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe kind of taking care of that.
Well, he does have his own show, and then he's got to make sure that Xander is not overly stimulated enough to go to bed. And you know, I've raised children with problems before, so I understand entirely. And by problems, I don't mean that as a put down. I mean,
right.
You definitely have to adjust your style to the child's needs. And
well, yeah, like how Rob Anderson does.
Yeah. Yeah. It's being responsible, basically, more than anything else. It's not like go away, kid, you bother me.
And like
I couldn't stand that kind of parenting if somebody were to do it in front of me.
Well, and I think it's just something that people have to understand. And that's why I, going to my friend Laura, helping her in the trailer, and
Mhm.
since her father now, we installed a grab bar on the edge of the tub today.
Mhm.
There was one of those suction grab bars that was installed on the tub surround. And anyway, he went to grab on it several days ago. And it kind of came loose on him, and he went down, and his ribs hit the side of the tub, and kind of bend him up pretty good. And
I
he was on
imagine
the field.
so.
Yeah,
That sounds horrible. Yeah.
and he's got scoliosis in the back and among some other problems. So uh, Laura got found this, I think, on Amazon, and this is a wonderful, just a big oval uh, metal grab bar that just has a turn knob that closes. It's got a clamp on the bottom, and it's got pads on the inside of the clamp so it doesn't scratch or mar your tub and that. And I'm going to tell you, you got that thing tightened down, it doesn't move. And it's wonderful in the sense that I installed it for him, and and then I put some the self-adhesive tub
Yep.
treads down in the bottom, uh, and so that we could, what all can we do to keep them from slipping.
Yeah,
And
really, at our age, we need all the extra tips and tricks we can get. Falling
yeah,
down in the shower, I don't want my wife to have to call 911 because I busted my head open and I'm naked.
yeah, yeah. Well, and that's with me with my situation with my knees being bone on bone, and the other problems I have with that. If I went down, it's going to be a while before I get up, if I get up, depending on that. And when I first moved here, and my first shower that I had in there, it's a shower tub. But my first shower I had in there, it looked like I was doing a new dance step. It was so slippery. And
Hmm.
that's one of the first things I did was got those Duck brand adhesive,
Oh yeah, the
strips.
little the little stick-on thing. Yeah, uh,
Mhm.
those
And
are worth their weight in gold.
yeah, and if you go to move, you want to take them off, and they're very easy to come off, and they don't leave anything behind. And so yeah, so we put those in his tub and installed that grab bar on the side, and it's so easy to move it around that I told him, I said, if you go in to take your bath and that, if you feel that that's not quite the right place where I got it, just turn the knob,
Hmm.
and it's even for him, real easy for him to move it. I
Yeah,
said,
move it to where he needs it. Yeah.
where he needs it, tighten it down real good, and so so I, until she gets moved in over there, where she can be there 24/7,
Yeah.
more or less, and it's a little bit less worry on my mind and on her mind.
Well, yeah. You have to pay attention like that sometimes, and it's always a good thing. And besides that, you're helping somebody that needs help.
Yeah,
And
and they're family to me. They're
yeah,
my they're not blood, but they're as much as what they basically, well, I met my best friend's sister about 22 years ago, and that when I moved back to Danville after I was going through some stuff. Mom
Mm,
was last few years of her life taking care of her and
mm.
stuff and that, and a friendship developed there, and then met, my best friend later on, and we just, they invited me. My family's all passed away now. My brother being the last of the immediate family, and I have the one cousin who chimed in on Stupid O'Clock earlier tonight, Sarah, and
Mhm.
she's uh,
I wish we could have
second.
helped her more with the copyright stuff she was asking about.
Yeah,
It
I
it
yeah,
must be really difficult because uh the church hymns and stuff like that, they've got some history to them, so they've been copyrighted for a long time, and you would think something like that would get exceptions, but evidently
yeah.
not, and that doesn't make sense unless somebody's
No,
out for lawyer money.
and they have to be so careful about all that. I totally understand that, especially if they are doing something live, which I believe. Well, now since they opened back up, I don't know if they're doing it now, but I know during the lockdown they were doing.
It's about 60-40 still.
Yeah,
Used to be 100% online, and most of the churches around here have gone to, we're having services again, but we're still going to broadcast online for folks that either can't get out of their house because they're
yeah,
elderly and don't need to get out of their house because they're risking falling down and breaking something and dying, and then that and the live services too. So they got to balance that off. It's uh it's kind of like now, and it's weird, but it's kind of like doing the Halicon with live stuff and streaming stuff, or LibertyCon with the only streaming stuff this year, but it'll be hopefully live and streaming next year, because that seems to have become a real utility for a convention, just like it has been for these churches, uh, to be able to put stuff online for the people that can't get there right then, can't show up in person, and they still want to participate and be part of the experience of that particular either service or panel or whatever. But I'm generalizing a lot here, but it is kind of the same thing. Uh,
and didn't I hear on Brian's show the other day, if I heard correctly, that Superman celebrations could still be virtual this year,
I think so. I think so. Now I can't
which
I can't recall I can't recall exactly, but I think that's correct. Yes.
I
Uh,
find that to be odd now that we went into phase 5 on Friday,
hmm
and we're supposed to be totally back open again.
hmm
So, if, like I said, if I heard it right, and that's the way it is, I'm kind of like wondering why. What
Well,
if there's something to do with the insurance or something still?
yeah, that is probably the big reason. I think that's what was holding LibertyCon back from being live this year was hotel restrictions and insurance combined, um, and they had to plan everything before the go full unmask was passed. So you can't, when you've got something that's planned that far in advance, you can't just change gears quickly. You've got to stick with the original plan. And plus, insurance companies are really, really slow to adapt to changes that would cut down on how much you'd have to spend for the insurance. If you expect an insurance company to make things cheaper for you, not bloody likely. I
hopefully
expect
by
a
next
lot.
year.
I expect a lot of live conventions in the future are going to have to really spend a lot of their budget on the insurance rather than the hotel space and amenities for the convention people, like water stations and whatnot. I know Anacrocon was their final year. They were going, well, they want $1,000 for every tank of water with and a sleeve of paper cups for us to put out in different places in the hotel. And then we're going, water's cheap, and they've got the tanks already. This is price gouging. And they're going, yeah, but we can't do anything about it because it's the hotel.
Yeah, we're kind of going through something similar there in Oakland. They sold out to a different company. Water was getting shipped in. Here, right now, my water bills were getting red still. If I didn't use a drop of water at all for the whole month, I would still have to pay $70 and 19 cents. And then you're allowed so much water usage. Once it gets over that usage, then they start charging.
I remember when I was still living inside the city limits of Athens, and the county government figured out, hey, we can charge them sewer fees as well as water fees, and we can double everything because the same water we pump in has to come out somewhere. And there you go. We turn a $35 a month bill into a $70 bill overnight.
Yeah.
Double profits.
Danville does that with garbage.
Yep.
Water.
Yep.
When I lived outside of Danville, at the Yellow House, which used to refer to, my water bill there is about $29.
Good night, Joe Dog.
Night, Joe Dog.
Yeah, if I type something to him privately, it'll come up like 6 different times or something because we go on every channel we're broadcasting on. It's just one of those things.
And I'm sharing your show on my channel right now. After everything stopped, it was stupid o'clock, and that I thought, oh, there's these errors. So I did that, but I didn't do it with the article in case we had any more people.
Yeah, and I'm very sad to say that the people that Joe had to block from Stupid O'Clock came from my channel, which means there's some trolls I need to look up for and block on my own webpage. But these things, they happen, I swear.
Yeah, and I noticed there's some recent changes in Facebook groups now where these people can get in there right away without having to go through the invite unless it's private. But then you still have the option as an admin to check out something that they post before you allowed.
Yeah, and the big drawback to using that particular thing is my public page has to say so wide open because I unless somebody reveals themselves as an obvious troll commenting on my page, I will never know. But then they have access to everything extracurricular like this that winds up being broadcast on the page. So it's just it's unfortunate, but trolls will be trolls, and
Yeah, yeah.
the best you can do is manhammer them as soon as you find them.
Well, the way I got the artwork of Bill Sargent set up, I am the single grand ruler dictator, whatever you want to call me. And so nothing will get by me. So I'll either allow it or not allow it. Every day is Saturday, which even though I'm admin on there, I actually did not start that group. A friend of mine last week did. And which I haven't seen him post for a while, and I'm actually kind of concerned and thinking I need to do a welfare check on. Got where
did you inherit that one?
Pretty much did, yeah. And he gave me full reign of the whole group. The group is growing by leaps and bounds, but like you were talking about with the trolls, getting trolls from other countries, they're
Yep.
wanting to come in, and I'm thinking I'm going to have to change the status of the group to see if that will help control a little bit of it, seeing how the Facebook is changing the rules and stuff now with that last thing.
You might ask Stephanie Osborne pertinent questions because she's had several groups that she's either started up or kind of been she inherited, and she's got all this stuff set up, and still idiots manage to find a way to come through. The shields are not impermeable, let's just say.
No, and well, when you were still able to do watch parties, and I would do that big long 7 to 10 hour watch party on Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
With the cartoons and Schoolhouse Rock and Time for Timer and all the commercials and everything. I'd see people popping in, because I was doing the watch party live, and boy, I was seeing names that I not only could not pronounce, but I didn't think I had on the keyboard of my smartphone. Coming in from everywhere. Now, I will say that I was keeping a watch on things and looking for any shenanigans in that, and it turned up that, with the exception of maybe about 5 or 6 people that was just spamming the sell whatever product,
Yeah.
All the rest of them were just simply fans from other countries.
Yeah.
And maybe it was just, this, 30, 40-year-old Hanna-Barbera cartoon might be something new to them.
Yeah.
And
or then again, it might be something that they caught in syndication in their own country 20 years after it was actually brand new.
Yeah.
And they just fell in love with it. Yeah. But I'm sitting here looking at the chat from Stupid O'Clock, and I'm going, yeah, that name should have been banned as soon as it popped up, because that's not even a rather smart joke. So it's just rude words combined into other ruder words, and I'm going, yeah, Joe Dog did the right thing dropping the band hammer on them.
And see, I seen him flash the comment on the screen, and I didn't catch it before. You might have seen me kind of leaning in like that. But, I was trying to read it.
Yeah.
I saw something about Batman and Superman on there, but then I didn't see who it was or what the actual comment was. And then I started hearing you and Joe Dog and Skunk and them talking about, this perpetrator. And
Mm-hmm.
apparently they said some things to Skunk too, I guess.
Well, I didn't even get to see them because I had, since it was still stupid o'clock time, I had everything full screen so I could see everybody's faces real well rather than postage stamps. And I wasn't monitoring what they were saying in chat. And when the two people got blocked, evidently that deleted their chat comments. So I never did get to see what it was. But given the nature of their chosen nicknames, I'm kind of glad that I didn't, because I probably would have got really upset, and that's never a good time for anybody when I get upset, because I tend to get well. You were in the green room when Nick came in last night and had to rant, or did you come in after that?
When I came in, you and Pops was there, or Michaela was there, and she was leaving.
Okay,
I came in way late.
You missed an absolutely epic and poetic rant by Nick, and it was just I wish I had that transcribed, because it was absolute Shakespeare what this was just brilliant. But it's one of those things that because it's a green room, it never gets recorded. So if you weren't there, there's no way to convey the awesomeness of how pissed off he was.
I was going to say Nick Talkert is modern day version. What was his name? Victor Borno, or he used to come on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, big heavy set guy, and he would stand up at a podium and do his little poems that were quite humorous.
Mm-hmm. Victor Bono?
I believe so.
Adam West, Batman villain, King Tut?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Victor Buono. Yeah.
He was brilliant with that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Lord, yeah. He was brilliant in anything he ever touched.
And some of the stuff Nick does, just some people might think it's a ramble, but he's got it plotted out.
Yeah, if you can tie it up in the last paragraph, it's not a ramble. It's definitely insurrection. So
yeah. Well, it seems like the last probably 2 or 3 weeks. I know that 1 week we ended early because of Carl and Donna not being home and having connection problems and stuff. But the last 2 or 3 weeks, it seems like I've always come in late. Everybody's talking about something spectacular happening.
Oh yeah, something that happened half an hour before you got there.
Yeah, and it's one thing about the auction. When I go to that with Laura and her dad, and that it really depends. We left early one night because she was working on that Saturday, and then but like Friday night we stayed through the whole thing. Yeah, when you go up there to get your auction card, you get a little ticket with the number on there. If you stay for the whole auction, and if they bought more than $10 worth of items, uh, they have a drawing at the end. Draw a ticket out the fishbowl, and the winner of that would get $10 off the purchase. So there's we we always go over $10 quite easily. Sometimes not a lot over $10, but generally always over $10. So that kind of keeps us to the end a lot, especially if Laura doesn't have to work the next day, which she did. Well, work with me, but so my, I'm kind of getting into it a little later, but it used to be that sometimes that green went on till midnight, 1 o'clock or later, and I would have backed out of it, and it was still going on for another hour or two. So not so much that lately, and that, but there'll be some time I'll get into it a little bit earlier again.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people I miss seeing out there, like that may not be out there for very long. Brian for one, and a few people that you'll see kind of come in and out. I haven't seen them for quite a while because I've been coming in so late.
Well, yeah, but you've got stuff you've got to take care of. I mean,
I
not.
wouldn't have it any different, but
No, it's
I
not like
enjoy
you're
both.
living for the show. I mean, you've got everything you've got to do, and then you come in to relax afterwards.
But I thoroughly enjoy it. I mean, it's something as much as I look forward to the auction every week, I look forward to the green room every week because that's how I get to talk to you guys, with the exception of you and Joe Dog's gracious invite on Stupid O'Clock, and that
Oh,
because I don't really get on the shows. I've not been invited on. Well, I will be doing. I did that one show with Teresa Dunn about a month ago, burger show, and I will be on Ryan Harrison's show next month. I think July 17th, if I remember right. Gets closer to the date, I'm going to have to start publicizing that a little bit.
no.
Try to get some of my friends to watch it. But
Well,
other than that, I mean, I really don't. I don't get the invites to a lot of the shows and stuff. So actually, to get in there and see you guys and talk to you, other than just through the comments, it's something I do look forward to. To jump in there and just kind of uninhibited type talk and that, So
well,
I do look forward to it.
I always enjoy when you have a chance to pop into any show I'm in. I don't care what it is, because you're actually a very fascinating guy, and I just love the insights and the experience that you bring to something like this, because it's it's a whole different sort of it's not quite the same thing that I kind of grew up with, but it's parallel in a lot of ways. So and then
We're not that far apart on age, I don't think so.
well, no, we're not far apart on age. I mean, and your artwork is just I love every post that you make that's showing off stuff that you've done for your daily drawing or you know. This is something that just came to mind, and right here it is, and I'm going, damn, I can't tell that from an animation cell. It you know.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate that. I've
Well,
had some people go on. I know. Well, today was National Superman Day, so
yeah,
even though I actually did this not that long ago, I thought, well, I'll just grab one of my Superman pictures I did, and
yeah.
oddly enough, I've only done one in color. So the one that you saw today, kind of my Kurt Swan looking Superman,
Yeah.
that was the only one I ever did in color, and so I put that on there. And a friend of mine on Facebook really said very similar words to what you're just telling me now, and going on about it, and there's quite a few people that do. One of them that does that, you want to talk about being totally geeked out. I'm friends with John Davy, who was the second Captain Marvel in the Saturday Morning Shazam live action series that, yes, Filmation did. And
I remember it well.
John Davy often gets in there and likes and comments on my artwork and stuff.
Well, you deserve compliments. You're very accomplished with what you do. Yeah.
Yeah, but and the 58-year-old me says, "Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that very much." And then the 8-year-old me goes, "Oh, wow, Captain Marvel got in there and is commenting on something of mine." It's like I'm friends with Burt Ward too. That guy back here. And when him and I actually became friends with his wife Tracy Ward first because of their product, Gentle Giant dog food.
Yeah.
And I was really amazed by it, and that, and I actually requested her friendship, and not thinking who she was or anything like that. And I started seeing those advertisements. She got advertisements with Robin. Well, Ward, okay. And I got to thinking, so somehow she's connected.
I recognize that name from somewhere.
Yeah. It's like, duh. And, I actually met Burt Ward one time when I was about, I want to say 10 or 11 years old. One of the local car dealerships near where we lived at the time was having a car show, and they had one of the Batmobiles there from the 66 TV series, and Burt Ward was there. This would have been about 1973, I believe, and he was there in costume, giving out autographs, and so I'm totally geeked out because, yeah, I'm all about Batman and Robin. I grew up with that. Batman was my hero in that. Robin is equally. And so you got this black and white glossy, and went up there and I got the autograph. And, thank you. I've been a big fan, and said all the usual geek stuff that I'm sure he heard 50,000 times over. Then it's my brother, who's 15 months younger than me, turn to go up, hand him the glossy black and white photograph of Lord. And Bert's asking him his name. Lord, my name is Val. Okay, how do you spell that? V-A-L, all that. Okay. And my brother's just looking at him and not saying anything else. And Bert looks at my brother and he says, well, would you like to say anything else before we get to the next person? And he says, yeah. He goes, okay, what? He goes, you got hairy legs. And I just wanted to beat my brother to death. I was so embarrassed. And of course, after probably 2 or 3 seconds of Burt Ward going like that, he smiled and laughed, and he goes, "Yeah, I do," you know. And
Everybody gets older. Yeah.
yeah, and then we walked away, and then of course I ratted my brother out to mom and dad, And of course they laughed about it and said, "Oh, well, you shouldn't have done that,"
Yeah,
But
really.
yeah, totally
Didn't even
geeked
get a
out.
slap on the wrist for being rude to a
Oh no,
celebrity.
no. And when I became friends with Burt Ward on Facebook and that, I said something in a comment about him. I said, "I know you don't remember this. This is something that happened. We saw you back in 1973, and this is something my brother said. And okay, here it is now, you know, uh, 40 plus odd years later or whatever. And I'm apologizing for what my 9-year-old brother said at the time, and he got a laugh out of it, and he said, because you're right, I don't remember it. He says, but he goes, there was a lot of weird things that used to happen. And, so yeah, the part of you geek out like that. And, I got friends like Ron Ferdinand, who draws Dennis the Menace in some days, and John Rose, who draws Snuffy Smith 7 days a week, and they're always liking, commenting on something like that. And that means a lot to me.
Yeah, really, really. You know,
You know,
Ted ought to interview you because you've got some life experiences in there. You've been around for a a, a few days, and you've been through some stuff, and it's an interesting perspective because you've had this opportunities to do things that many other people have not had to do. Plus, you're a fantastic artist, and
thank you.
and
Well, I just,
you,
the I, you talk about, Brian always talks about imposter syndrome and stuff. Yeah, maybe some of that's true or whatever. I'm not sure. Maybe that's part of imposter syndrome too. I
yeah,
suppose.
when you go, I'm just me. I'm not that. I'm not that. I'm not all that. And people go, yeah, you are all that. You're just humble. Okay.
Well, one of the best compliments I ever got, it's hard for me to accept a compliment, I guess maybe because of that. I did this drawing of Red Rover a while back, and there it's it was them in bed with
Hmm.
the covers pulled up, and Rover, the dog, is in bed laying cuddled up next to his master Red. And I'm friends with Brian Bassett, creator of Red.
Hmm.
And I just posted this as one of my warm-up sketches, like I've done every day. And I actually ended up giving that sketch to my best friend Laura because it's one of her favorite strips. And that Brian Bassett messaged me, and he says, "Hey," he goes, "me and my wife really like that sketch for Red Rover." you know, and no, I didn't sell it. I gave it away to my friend. I said, "Oh, well, thank you for that." He says, "Well, I'm wanting to know if you would give us permission to put your sketch on the official Red Rover Facebook." Uh, you know, and
Score.
first, first of all, I'm thinking, okay, this is your character, not mine. But yeah, I understood what he meant by it. And of course, I had to say absolutely, and I would be greatly honored to do that. But for them, that would have been like, I, you know,
drawing a picture of Snoopy and then having, Sparky, if he was still alive,
Yeah.
to say, hey, can I put this on the official Peanuts Facebook page? I mean, that's how honored I am. And
Oh yeah. Yeah.
totally
Definitely.
awestruck I was anyway with Brian Bassett. Uh, Red Rover's my favorite Rover strip. Peanuts has
You
always been
would
my
be
all-time.
amazed at how uh, the people that are the creators of the things that we love the most appreciate the fans doing something like that it touches a nerve. And that's probably a bad way to say that, but I can't think of a better way right now. But it resonates with them, and going, I have touched someone so implicitly that they are going, oh, let me show you this that I did from love. And it's like an honor when you get recognized for that love for their creation. And
Yeah,
it's just a very special moment.
well, like I said, I gave the sketch to Laura for her birthday last year before I forget. But what I did was I printed out kind of a screenshot of the Red Rover Facebook page showing that very same one on that page, and then I included that with, with the sketch when I gave it to her, saying, here, this is where this thing is on, and now, you own the sketch.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the reason why I did, because I was going to give it to her, but I just posted one more sketch. I get commissioned to do a piece of art for somebody like my Canadian friend Dan Blair
Mm-hmm.
did for his grandson, the Ghost Rider, and morphing into Ghost Rider. And then, apparently I will not show that without their consent on that, because I have got his grandsons that on there. Some people are more personal about things like that.
Yes. It's amazing how many different kinds of people that you run into, and whether or not they appreciate something to the level that you meant it for, and whether they go, don't do that again. That's the opposite end of the spectrum of, oh wow, this is great, thank you for doing it. And
Well, it's just, I never know, and I don't want to step on anybody's toes. And even when I'm doing somebody, I keep them in the loop the whole time because I wanted they want not settle for. Well, this is exactly what I was thinking, but I'll take it. I don't ever want it to be that way. I did a recent one for Ryan Ferguson and Dave Adams for their new, Ryan Ferguson's agriculture show.
yeah,
His the other geek show. I can't think of the name of it. I'm sorry, Ryan. But it is
hey,
20 till 2 in the morning, so that's part of my problem, that and my age. But anyway, they're doing a spin-off show called Geek at Birth, and he wanted me to do some pictures of him and Dave of their faces looking like how they are now, but their bodies being babies.
oh yeah,
That's the at birth part. And I won't say it was the strangest commission I ever had, but it was in the same ballpark. But I wanted to be what they wanted, and so we went back and forth, and I would text it, hey, I had this idea. Do you like this? Do you like, because when I did pictures of Ryan and Dave on there, I kept seeing all these pictures of Ryan wearing glasses and that, but then he didn't want me to draw the glasses, on there. Well, the first picture I drew of him, I drew it with him with the glasses on. I said, hey, can you do it without the glasses? Because when I do my podcast, I don't put my glasses. Oh, okay. So I try to keep things in the continuity that they want.
Yeah.
As opposed, and I'll
That's
say,
only
I'm gonna,
good manners. Yeah.
yeah, and I'll inject my ideas on certain things about it. And then we had an issue because of some stuff that he wanted that would be related to DC and Marvel and Star Wars and all that. And I had to consider the legalities of certain things. So I said, there's going to be some things that can be altered, that can skate around some stuff that would still kind of put you in mind to certain things without it being actually looking like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you have to be really subtle to get in under the radar.
And it was only because of the way that I've seen others do it that I said, okay, I'll try it this way, and you tell me if this is a go or a no. I think on that end of it, my first drawings, some of that stuff went quite well with them. And then they kind of let me get creative with extras that I had. Now it's their not on the podcast, but it's their promo Geek and Earth
Yeah.
page, Facebook page. So, yeah, I appreciate those things. Ryan is one of these rising tide people that I see.
Definitely a good family to be part of.
Yeah, he is likes, shares stuff, all whether it's videos or like Ryan's show or my pictures, stuff like that. And same as like Cindy Cab, things like that.
Oh, her jokes just crack me up, I swear. It's like
Great.
she'd rather do that than the stuff that she's better known for. And so I'm going, okay, if this is the way the energy flows, this is the way the energy flows. And thank you. I'm laughing myself to tears here. So
I kind of got to know how, I don't say how her mind works, but I kind of got to know her personality some. She commissioned me a few years back to do some, create some actual drawings from characters, books. I did 3 different characters, and then Matt Ostro did one of the other ones. And now she's got them on her Patreon page, and now for all the different levels that you can be a patron on the Patreon page. But while we was doing it, and I was trying to get an idea about some things that I wanted. I will text to a certain degree just for a paper trail. And because, yes, I'm 58 years old and I forget things. So if I go back and read it in the text, okay, yeah, that's okay. He said that. He said that.
Yep.
But also, too, I like to, you know, talk to them. You know, and I'll generally say, "Hey, can you call me?" or what, you know, and do it that way. And that's what I did with Cindy and that. And then she said, "Well," and she was describing the characters and what she thought that they looked like and things. And then she sent me little snippets of the books that she thought would help me with them. And, you know, we went from there. And, but it was basically just, you know, it wasn't like somebody saying, "Hey, draw the Riddler, draw Batman,
Yeah,
Doctor Who," or whatever, because you've already got a notion of what they look like. And then this was,
it's more of a challenge to actually create a visual of somebody's fictional character that has never been represented before.
right,
So
right.
yeah, yeah.
Very, very, I mean,
It,
it was quite the challenge for me, but, you
oh well, I mean, it stretched your yourself out of your comfort zone, and you had to do something there that you aren't used to doing, and knowing you, I'm willing to expect it turned out pretty damn well. Now, I've got to run off to the restroom, and we're closing on.
yeah, I,
It's like 10 minutes to 3 here, so
yeah, and
uh,
I need to get out of here too. Now, so I have a couple
well,
of things going on tomorrow.
Bill, it is always a pleasure, and anytime I'm doing anything, you are welcome to join in if you got time to spare, because I just love talking with you. I swear I do. And if anybody that is watching don't enjoy it, well, I feel sorry for them because they're missing out.
And I
But
take all the blame. But
oh,
no,
oh, come on,
I
that's
greatly
my
appreciate
job.
it. Yeah,
Oh,
you know, you know, I got listening to you guys on Skip the Clock a few months ago, and the Thursday night shows seem to kind of hit and miss with me for whatever reason. Just never stuck in my
yeah,
head. But once I got used to the Saturday night shows,
it's a bit more laid back because everybody's going, hey, it's late enough to where we don't have rules, so we can just be ourselves. Thursday night show is kind of, oh, we've got to behave somewhat
on a
for a
little
given,
bit more prime time hour then. You know.
for a given value of behave. I mean, we have crossed several lines from time to time, but
Well, I thoroughly enjoy it. You guys have a plethora of information about everything. And
well, I mean,
you talk on various subjects and that, you know, and I think it's really interesting in that. And then the copyright stuff that you guys talked about tonight was definitely something that my cousin was interested in because of
yeah.
uh,
The thing about copyright, it used to be a whole lot simpler, but now people have decided they can make money off of trying to keep people from using stuff that they could attempt to make money off of, even though it's not their money. So it's weird, but you know, the world has rolled over in that direction, so we just
yeah.
had to deal with it. But
Well,
and
I will let you go so you can do your thing and all that. And once again, like I said, thank you very much for the invitation on your show and yours,
anytime, Bill,
Joe
anytime.
Dobbs on Stupid O'Clock. I really enjoy you guys.
And when I retire and start doing this every night of the week, if you're not able to sleep, you're welcome to come on and be one of the regular guests. But we
Okay.
got a couple of years before that happens, so
Yeah.
get get your stuff together because you know in 2024, starting in February, uh, it's not just going to be stupid o'clock after show. It's going to be, well, it's late. Let's see what we got going on.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Well,
And
you're welcome.
it's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure.
Good
And,
evening, and anybody else out there listening or watching that, my kudos to you as well. And we'll see you next time.
Good night, Bill.
Right.
Try and get some sleep, no matter how hard it is.
It won't be very hard.
All right.
Good
All
night.
right. Good night. And we have the end of another Last Man Standing. And we're looking forward to the next time, which will be quite possibly next Thursday after Stupid O'Clock, or it might be next Saturday after Stupid O'Clock. But it's just one of those things where I don't know if Joe Dog wants to do the Stupid O'Clock after show, or if he wants me to go ahead and step in and do this one. But it's the same sort of thing. It's the same people when we're lucky that people stay up late. But to all the insomniacs and all the artists and other crazy people out there, thank you very much for everything you do and being here every step of the way while we do what crazy stuff we do. Thank you very much, everybody. Good night. Good night.